Okay, now it's working again. I don't know why the mic will not stay on the setting that I put it at. So rude. So rude. Um, yeah, I decided that today we're going to start with Sister Wives because I screwed it up yesterday and didn't didn't get to it. Well, the voice didn't record because the mic was on the wrong setting again, and just like it was just now, and I don't understand why it's doing that because I put it on the right setting when I set it up, and it hasn't moved. It's really annoying. And I looked at it, and I could swear it was said the right thing. Really annoying. Like super annoying. I got a new little gadget though, so maybe that'll help some things, at least from work wise. You won't notice, hopefully. Hopefully you won't notice. So how is everyone? I hope you're well. I'm well. Make sure you tell me in the chat how you're doing. I got all the social media stuff out today, so that's good. And this hub should help me be able to move back and forth because I do the updates in the living room because I can't watch a TV that's behind me. It's back there. So anyway, I guess we'll get into Reality Roundup, Sister Wives, Season 20, Episode 19, One-on-One, Part 4. We open with Sookie and Cody continuing their conversation. She's asked Cody what Mary did to offend him, and he can't answer because, of course. She finally drags it out of him that it was Jen talking trash to him. So nothing Mary did. He called Jen unsafe. Like, what do you think Jen's going to do to you, dude? He blames the breakup partially on Jen. No, you cannot blame a third party for breaking you up. You did that by yourself with your own actions, Cody. Sookie asked Mary if she thinks Cody realized he was responsible for her dark time. I mean, have you met Cody, Sookie? He's like the least self-aware person ever. So no, of course not. He does not know that. Mary explains that the dark time was the time of the legal divorce and not having a relationship leading to the catfishing episode, which, in my opinion, Cody is partially responsible for that because he was not emotionally or physically there for Mary at all during that time. You can't expect people to not seek validation elsewhere when you're not giving any validation at all, sir. She said she had a hard time getting through that, which is understandable. Of course, Cody says it can't be told that I'm the reason because I disagree with that. Okay, and what did I just say? He's sorry he wasn't there, but it's not his fault. So why are you sorry you weren't there then? Because it is your fault. It's your fault for not being there. He was just told the whole thing was because he wasn't there. I swear this man I cannot deal with. He says he was struggling with Mary and going to Robin for comfort. And Robin was like, nope, I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant. Nope, I'm pregnant. Can't deal with you. Like, I don't see how that was not a sign to Robin that something was wrong with Cody, not Mary. Cody says he doesn't remember Mary apologizing to him about the dark time, but won't say she didn't. This is a very big tell that he knows she apologized and he did not accept it at the time. He knows he did not accept it. He doesn't want to take responsibility for his own actions. Mary insists that she's told him. And who do we believe? Mary, of course, because Cody's a known liar. And that is something that a liar says. Well, I won't say that she did or didn't, but I don't remember it. Like, yes, you do. You do. Don't lie. Sookie is having Cody watch a clip of Janelle and Mary, and he's just so obnoxiously annoying. He's like, yeah, let's see. Let's see if Jen trash talks me or not. Let's just see. I swear. And I may post a TikTok when that gets up because that's going up. That's got to be going up. There's a guy who has Muppets that are like reality show Muppets. And oh my gosh, it's hysterical. It's so funny. And I think he's using like the real dialogue from the show and doing the puppet thing. And it is awesome. It's so funny. So funny. So they watch the clip where Jen is giving Mary a bitch lessons. And Cody insists that Mary has always had her voice and always tried to push him around, which we know is not true. So Sookie asked if she needed the bitch lessons, and he said, having your voice does not make you a B word. Bitch, please. Now we're policing our language. It doesn't later on, let me tell you. He's like, oh my goodness. It's funny. He'll say the F word like it's nothing, but you say bitch and it thinks it's terrible. It's so weird. Mary says there was a time when that was true, but it wasn't working for her, so she went the other way before the dark time. Mary says she felt punished for having a thought. Christine says that Cody doesn't like Jen, that Jen is strong and can't be manipulated. I said it right. Jen says she's been around a lot and has seen him act with disdain when he is not obeyed. And I believe her. So apparently Jen owned a bug spray business, and that's how they met her. Janelle says she dropped Jen because Jen says she told Mary to take the money and run. And Janelle told Cody. Mary says Jen never said that, and this is a new story to her. What I suspect happened was that Jen and Janelle were chit-chatting, and Jen expressed that Mary should take the money and run. And Janelle misinterpreted that as something that Jen already told Mary instead of just being a thought to be punished for. So Jen is being punished for a thought and not for anything that she actually did. Jen said she never told Mary that. Christine said she never got the impression that Jen wanted Mary to end the marriage, and if Jen said it, it was sarcastic. Which I can see from Jen's behavior, which we can see from Jen's behavior on the show, that she's very sarcastic. So I believe Christine, I believe Jen, I believe Mary. I do not believe Janelle, and I believe Janelle thinks that's what happened. But she was incorrect, and Cody was just going by what Janelle said. Janelle says she thinks Jen's a great and good friend for Mary. So Jen says she was fine with the marriage until she realized that no one was there for Mary. Like, she went to the other wives and said, listen, Mary's going through a really tough time. You need to talk to her. And none of them ever did anything for her. Mary says that Robin lost her trust when she wasn't around for the dark time, and the things she said to Robin that suddenly other people would find out. Robin is pretending not to know. Like, obviously, like, I don't remember that. Robin, please, you're not as good a liar as Cody is. It's ridiculous. Such a liar. I mean, you can just tell she's lying. Robin says the things she said to Robin, suddenly other people would find out. Christine doesn't trust Robin at all, because Christine told Robin things in confidence that got back to Cody. Cody goes off about how his and Christine's relationship was all about Christine and Robin had nothing to do with it. He says he never felt like Robin was betraying anyone's trust, and he doesn't care if Christine feels like Robin betrayed her. Like, well, we know you don't care about Christine. We know. Sookie reminds him that Mary says the same thing, and then he responds that they're scapegoating Robin, which they're not. I mean, they both have the same story and separate, and they don't talk to each other. So you know that they're both experiencing the same thing separately and apart from each other. Christine gives a concrete example of Robin's betrayal. She told Robin that she was upset about Cody not being in the kids' lives. Got back to Cody because Robin told him. Cody insists that Robin has no responsibility in any of the breakups, but she's the core reason that they're breaking up because he is in love with Robin and he is not treating everyone equally. And you can't do that in a plural marriage. You have to treat everyone as equally as you possibly can. Equally doesn't mean equitably. It means that everybody gets the attention that they need, just like your kids. Some of your kids need different attention than other kids. Some of your kids need different help than other kids. And the wives are the same. And he was not doing that at all. Everything was Robin, 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 and the other girls were kicked to the curb. I said girls. They're all younger than me. Suki asked Robin if Cody ever told him things that were said to her in confidence, and he equivocates. Robin insists that she had Mary's back, which is strange as there was a catfisher thing going on. If you know, you know. Mary said that she would have conversations with the catfisher and Robin would find out about them. She says Robin wasn't malicious, but it was making the situation worse. Cody says angrily, I mean, really angrily, that if one wife is having an affair, another wife tells you that's his business. Okay, fair. But it wasn't just you she was talking to, Cody. It's not all about Cody. The world does not revolve around Cody as much as Cody wants it to. Robin was talking to somebody else, either talking to the catfisher or talking to a mutual acquaintance that knew both Robin and the catfisher. Because it's really weird that Robin knew everything that was going on, even stuff that Mary didn't tell her. He says Robin is the moral compass of the family ever since he entered it. Robin is no moral compass. Robin is no morality. Then we get to talk about Ron for a while. I'm not going through that. Everybody likes Ron. Everybody thinks Ron's okay guy. That's the gist of that. Mary is still open to a relationship of some sort with Cody and Robin. Cody then says something about betrayal being a delusion. Like, what the WTF is that about? How is betrayal a delusion? Betrayal is not a delusion. It's either you betrayed somebody, or you lost somebody's trust, or you didn't. It's not a delusion. Suki asked Cody if they could have come to him and talked to him about why they wanted to leave. And he says he didn't know he was doing anything wrong. He says no because he didn't realize that he was contemptuous or angry. What did I say about his self-awareness? At least he's self-aware enough to know that if they did come and talk to him, he wouldn't have accepted it. So I guess maybe he's 1% self-aware. Cody says she asked him about the apologies, and Cody says he'll apologize again if the exes don't accept it, but it makes him feel good if they do, because it's all about Cody. Suki asks if anyone else needs to apologize. She asks everybody if anyone else needs to apologize. Jen says she feels better with the apology, mainly because of him apologizing for stuff at the beginning of their relationship, of their marriage, and how things were going then. Because Cody is a terrible husband, especially when there's more than one wife. Janelle, and Cody was the only one that needs to apologize, as he was bad at being the head of the family. Mary loves that he did it, as it helps him. She forgives him. She's satisfied with the apology. And Mary thinks everybody should apologize all the time. Every time, all the time, for everything. Christine says she doesn't know if anyone needs to apologize. She's just willing to move on. Robin says apologies are your own personal journey, and she doesn't feel the need to apologize. And her forgiveness is on her, which is very self-centered and weird. Mary is also willing to let the past go, but she said she'd need some conversations to happen. And Cody got the last word, but I didn't doze off, but I lost interest. I lost interest in it really hard. So I don't know what he said, and I'm not going to go back and watch it. And that's that until August, apparently, because I just heard that they're coming back at the end of August. Joy, I can't wait. But I will have it for you. I will watch it, and I will have it for you so that you do not have to watch this mess. Still nobody here. Where is my audience? I put it on all the social medias. I know I got to do more. I got to do more. Next, we have entitled people. Entitled, there are empty seats, so I deserve one. I was on a long haul flight, completely exhausted and just wanting to sleep. About an hour in, a woman a few rows back started loudly arguing with a flight attendant because she wanted to switch to an empty seat in business class. Well, you didn't pay for that. I mean, they can offer that to you if they want to, but if you didn't pay for it and they don't offer you, you don't get to ask. The attendant calmly explained she hadn't paid for it and she couldn't just move. Her response, there are empty seats. It's a waste if I don't use them. Some people, I'm telling you. Well, you're not going to get to it, but somebody else might. Honestly, if I was a flight attendant, I'd go up to the quietest, nicest person I could find. Somebody who greeted me on the way in, because I always say hi. And somebody that's nice and quiet and not causing problems, and offer them the seat. Say, yeah, you're right. It is going to waste. Let me fix that for you. Wouldn't be her. That's how you put people in their place. She kept insisting, getting louder and saying she deserved to be comfortable and that the rules were ridiculous. At one point, she even tried to walk up there with her bag like it was already settled. They had to call another crew member, and eventually she was told to sit down or risk being removed when we landed. The wildest part wasn't even the entitlement. It was how genuinely confused she seemed that no actually meant no. Some people just break rules they truly believe they shouldn't apply to them. You say what? You say what now? Says, I love to hope that this was made up story, but having seen similar levels of entitlement myself, especially when flying, it seems to bring out the worst in some people. I absolutely believe you. Glad the crew didn't give in to her just for a quiet life, because it would make her even more of a nightmare in the future. Cunning Octopus answers, I saw a girl move to a business class seat after takeoff and settle herself in and go to sleep. The flight attendant did the most comical double take I've ever seen and woke her up. And then there ensued a loud but brief argument, which terminated abruptly when another flight attendant brought over a card machine for the passenger to pay for the upgrade. Passenger scuttled back to her original seat without further comment. My mom has done this a couple of times for long flights, says Curates a skip. A kip. I don't know. It's a hard one. In the past, once the doors have been shut and there are empty seats in first or business class, you could actually ask the flight attendant for the cost of the seat. Well, yeah, that makes sense. Because the doors are already closed, the price actually drops to a bit more than half. At the time my mother did this, the business class seats were 3 times the price of the coach. My mom was able to buy the seat for 1.8 times the cost of coach. It's a little less than double. So almost half of the price of the business class seat. Local Initiative answered that. My dad was a commuter many years ago and had a second class season train ticket, but he read the rules carefully and saw that the rules were that to use a first class seat, you had to have a first class ticket or the means to pay for an upgrade. So he sat in first class every day. Got checked a couple of times a month, but not as often as you would expect, because the ticket inspectors soon learn who has a season ticket and get lazy about checking. Occasionally, he would get checked and just pay for the upgrade that day. Worked like a dream. That's a good idea. Nanny April says, geez, I bet growing up her mom insisted she blew out the candle on somebody else's birthday cake. Yep, that's where that entitlement comes from. Oh, little Jane needs to blow out the candles on Tommy's cake. It's Tommy's birthday, ma'am. It's Tommy's birthday, not Jane's. Middle process says, wow, some people. Ain't that the truth? Oh, cute. Next we have Murdered by Words, and it's entitled Ain't It the Truth? I swear I hadn't even looked at this one. Okay, I'm not even showing this. It's Kanye East. Says conservative be like, let's make a skit. This is how liberal twinks get pounded by hunky muscular men. I will play and somebody calling themselves Brandon, how liberal men pump their vehicle tires, and it's showing a guy like sitting on a tire pump. I assume they, it's dumb. MZX says, let's own libs by shoving things up our butts. That would be funny, right? And there's something about the Proud Boys. You got to look that up. Turn off 8 says, every accusation is a confession. And that is so true. Upper Effect says liberals don't own Cybertrucks. It's true. Nixara says it's a rolling red flag for a specific crowd. You'll never catch a liberal driving something that looks like a motorized dumpster. That's true too. We're still in national parks for our terrible reviews. If you find a terrible review, send it. Links in the description. Email is in the description. This is from KS in Moab. Too crowded traffic jams, no solitude. Sir. Overrun with RVs, tour buses, traffic gets backed up with long delays. Too many commercial guide groups can't get away to enjoy nature. Oh, you poor thing. It's a public park. God forbid the public use it. All right. Next, we have Traumatized and Back, and it is entitled Dental Receptionist Climbs the Heck Down Off Her High Horse. Long ago, this was a simple smile this was a small smile in a horrible time. My dad died. Oh, I'm sorry. That stinks. My dad died in a bad way, and the first 24 hours were a blur of horror and admin. Yeah. Dental records were needed for identification. Ooh. I wasn't sure who his dentist was, so I was calling around clinics near where he lived to have the same short, sad conversation over and over. That is heartbreaking. Somebody outside of the family should have done that for you. Like if it had been my best friend, I would have done that for her. Like, you don't need to be calling and telling people this. I will do it. I will call it for you. Thinking to myself that in the movies, it always seems like a team of professionals appear out of nowhere to do this sort of crap. But real life was very mundane and different. That is true, too. One receptionist answered in a very bored and loud voice, MacGuffin's dentistry, routine, or emergency. I said I wasn't sure. She repeated very slowly, routine or emergency. In that special, you are stupid kind of way, only a British job's worth can. I said, well, emergency then. She sighed and asked if I was the patient. No. Even bigger sigh. Could she speak to the patient? No, because she cut me off and said she would have to put me on hold to deal with a customer. If I could please bring the patient to the phone in the meantime, due to the confidentiality. So I sat there on hold listening to plinky plonk music for a few minutes. I'd been a receptionist myself. I know it's tough work, but I also know that hold is a tool of tiny power. I never used it like that. Well, I won't say never. Rarely. Only if you're insisting on something that I cannot deliver or I've already told you no. Yeah, I'll go ask my boss. The answer's going to be no. Hold. Hey, boss. Can so-and-so do blah, blah, blah? No. Okay. Thank you. Then they'd insist on talking to the boss, and she'd tell them no again. And then they'd insist on talking to her boss, and he'd tell them no. No, that's not true. Half the time he'd tell him yes because he's a pussy. Um, Eventually, she reappeared with a dramatic sigh. Is the patient ready to speak to me now? I calmly said no because he's deceased and the police need his dental records for identification by the coroner. I could hear she was actually a bit annoyed that she hadn't won this round. She arranged for her manager to call me back. If I had had my head screwed on, I probably would have complained about the receptionist, but honestly, who cared about their customer retention that day? If this story made you sad, then I hope it's the beginning to look like no contact flare makes you laugh as much as it did me. My dad would have laughed too. Miss you, Dad. X. Oh, that's sad. But yeah, like I had somebody come in once, um, wanting special treatment. They wanted in a place where I could not guarantee them that they would be able to get back in later. Like, I can give you this now, but it's because they weren't planning on being there very long, which is fine. That was allowed, but um, after a certain time, I couldn't guarantee. And they didn't have the right equipment to get in there themselves. So I told her, I said, I can't guarantee that you can get back there after this. You might have to actually sign in. And she went off on me. Oh my goodness, it was ridiculous. She wanted several other things too. Like, look, I had to look at her account for some reason. I finally just looked at her. I said, ma'am, I understand that you're upset, but you're yelling about me about stuff that I have no control over. And I'm trying to help you, but I can't do that right now because you're screaming at me and I can't concentrate on what I need to do. So I gave her what she needed to do for now. She came back 45 minutes later, I think. I told her that I think there's somebody that can help you later. They have said that they could help you later. So you're going to have to call the other number because she knew what number I meant. The emergency number. She kind of apologized and said that her mama died and she was just there to make arrangements. And I'm like, I understand that. I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I gave her a hug. I said, we're friends now because we've been through something. And she left. And about a couple hours later, she came back with a piece of chocolate pie for me, which is not my favorite, but it was good. It was good that day. So yeah, if you have a job where you're working with the public, or you go to the job where people are working with the public, be nice to people. That's all. Just be nice to people. Just because you're having a bad day does not mean that you have the right to make other people's day bad too. I'm not repeating that because it's not nice and it's too early in the show to be saying bad things. Says, so sorry for your loss. Some people honestly shouldn't work customer service, but I did get a chuckle from your joke. Always best to find some humor when you can. That's how I get by myself. Your dad raised a good egg. Have a good night or morning wherever you are, internet stranger. Responsible 2 says, always look on the brighter side of death. Queenie McKee says, just before you drop your terminal breath. Oh, that's cute. Lee One is the second take right comment, and they say, not long after my dad died, some smart one demanded a note from my father because me and my boss were late. I deadpanned got a Ouija board. He looked at me blankly, and my boss just told the meeting that I had recently lost my father. He knew my sense of humor and complimented my retort later. Well, that's good. Stubborn kindness answers, you have various faux pas have taught me not to do crap like this. When I was in college, UK, so A levels, I hopped the bus and saw this dude looking at me intently. He was a teacher from primary school. We were both doing that. Is that him thing? I eventually made the first move and we started chatting. At one point I said, so are you married then? For people of our background, the average answer would be yes. It was supposed to be, oh, that's great. How's the family, kids, etc. That didn't happen because he was like, no, and it got awkward. And I realized I messed up, but I was 17 and more socially inept than the average teenager. I wouldn't ask those questions now, especially the kids one, but I had to learn by embarrassing myself in front of this dude I hadn't seen in 7 years. I think that's understandable. It's okay to ask somebody if they're married if you haven't seen them in a long time and you weren't close to begin with. That's fine. They might say no. Like, oh, any prospects? You want a date? Any damn thing will do is a third top rated comment, and they say dentist and doctor receptionists seem to carry a large amount of people that think status above the rest of us common folks. I was transferring back to my old doctor when I moved back here. The receptionist constantly refused and wouldn't talk to the doctor. I went over her head. The look on her face when I arrived for an appointment was epic when the doctor greeted me by my first name, and I did the same with him. Yikes. Errant Knight answers, I had a receptionist at the hospital talk crap about me, about how I didn't want to pay the $190 fee to see the doctor when I've been told I could defer the payment. She even showed other people behind the desk how much I owed and complained about how awful I was for not even caring. That is a HIPAA violation. No, you do not get to do that. I almost died a couple of weeks before this, and the doctor had done emergency surgery that I had to have another vital surgery. That this appointment was for scheduling and planning. Bitch didn't realize my husband was in the waiting room and heard every word. She used my full name while chatting crap about me. He filed a complaint, and that entire part of the hospital had to have extra mandatory HIPAA training. Told you there was a HIPAA violation. She should have got fired for that. That's just wrong. You don't do that. I know because I worked in health facilities before. I know HIPAA rules. You don't say names. You never say names. If I talk about somebody on here, I'm not, well, I don't remember their names, to be honest. I remember some of the coworker names, but I do not remember any of the people that were there. Their names or their family names. Because I have very bad memory. Friend, this next is what should I do? And it is entitled, friend asked me to cat sit for 3 days. It's now been over a month, and whenever she says she's going to come home to get them, she ghosts me the day of. I don't know what to do. Go drop the cat off on her doorstep. There are pictures. And they're kitty cat, and it's a kitty cat, and it's so cute. I gotta share. Look at him. He's a cookie cat. He's so sweet looking. Aww. And then she's got some. There's 2 cats, apparently. More than 1 cat. Also, I work overnight, so I tell her I'm waking up specifically to hand off the cats when she never replies. I blocked out some of the messages because I think she's going through a manic episode and I don't want to air her business. She's talking about past lives and time travel. Oh, she should not have cats. But regardless, I can't keep the cats here, and I don't want to be mean because it's my only friend. Oh, come stay here. You can make friends here. The biddies are friendly. We're just mean to other people. And honestly, I don't know what to do considering she isn't replying to my messages. Oh, and the cat tax is provided. If you're unaware, Reddit has cat tax. If you talk about animals, you have to post. You have to post a picture. That's the tax. It's the picture. Edit. I took some advice from here and messaged her that she needs to come and get the cats or I will have to rehome them. She replied immediately like a lot of you said she would. And she said she'd message me back within an hour. So now I'm waiting hopefully to coordinate picking up the cats. Thank you to everyone that gave me compassionate advice that made me feel like I wasn't a bad person for feeling this way. You're not a bad person. She should come and pick up her cats. That's human decency? Is that dead? I'm not sure. Edit. Second edit. There's too many comments for me to reply to individually, and I don't think anybody expects you to reply individually to every comment somebody makes. There are 247 comments on this. I ended up messaging her at 7 a.m. asking for an update because she never got back with me within the hour. Of course she didn't. She said she's trying to get a restraining order against a client and that was at the sheriff's office all night. She said she's messaging other friends to try and get someone else to take them. I told her she could have the weekend to do that because I'd much rather the cats end up in another home than in a shelter. If that actually happens, I'm not too sure about because I have no confidence in the situation anymore. Third update, and hopefully final update. She got temporary housing and an ESA approved for the cats, so the cats will be able to join her in temporary housing. She's supposed to come and get over at 9 a.m. the latest Friday and get the cats. Update 4. She didn't come and get the cats until she said she moves into her temporary housing on Monday, so I guess Monday is the new goalpost. Fifth and final update, she came and got the cats. Thank goodness. Yeah, okay. I don't think we need to read the comments because that's resolved. She got her cats. Thank goodness. It's a good friend. You're a good friend. Next, we have malicious compliance, and it is entitled, "Do you want me to escalate every time?" Okay, then. I work in customer service for my council, and because of the policies at my job, I have to be the bad guy frequently and have to say no to people. And frequently, people want to speak to my manager because of this. Been there, done that, got that t-shirt. I always refuse to escalate because I don't engage with adult tantrums. No, you should never do that. If they want to talk to the boss, you have them talk to the boss. The boss should have your back. Whether you speak to me or the CEO, it's going to be no. Accept it now and move on with your day to avoid further frustration. You're just frustrating yourself at this point. No, you shouldn't be doing this. I recently got a new manager, and a couple of weeks ago, someone complained about me for refusing to escalate the call. And he agreed with them and told me that in the future I should escalate the call if someone requests to speak to him. That's how you should do it. I explained to him that I don't escalate because it's pointless, and they'll also say no to it as his policy. I explained that speaking to someone just to repeat what has already been said is a waste of both their times, and that I don't want to contribute to this. I want a manager view that people have. Girl, you're doing too much. Actually, it's probably a guy. But he shut me down and told me that whenever someone requests a manager, I must call him and see if he's free. And if he's not, I should email him their details and the issue, and he'll call them back that day. Cue malicious compliance. The second someone requested to speak to manager, someone's in authority, etc., I called him and asked him to take the call, and the first few times he took it, and then he suddenly became less free and started telling me to email him the details, and he'd call back later. Later started to turn in the next day or later in the week. I battered him with the multiple escalations that I would ordinarily have refused over these past couple of weeks. Sometimes you can just hang up the phone for a minute, come back, and say, "Boss said no," and they'll take that. And then if they want to talk to the boss, then you escalate it. I had to do that a lot. Or you just ask the boss, "Hey, blah, blah, blah wants to do blah, blah, blah. I told them no. They want to talk to you. Do you want to talk to them?" "No, just tell them I told them no." It's easy. I mean, it's not that hard. As I was in the office, I could tell he was getting stressed because I could hear him on escalation calls, and it was clear that he'd been off more than he could chew with dealing with these escalations as the calls steered into trying to get my no turned into a yes by speaking to him. He was getting flustered and telling people he'd speak to the managers in the other departments, and then he'd have to call them back and tell them that he's looked into it and it's a no, as I told him already on my call with them. A complete U-turn, he emailed me today to tell me that I can go back to dealing with escalation requests the way I want to. If someone raises a complaint, he'll back me up. He went from "you must escalate" to "please shield me" in the space of 2 weeks. Girl's doing too much, though. Like, pretend. Go get a cup of coffee, go to the bathroom, whatever, come back, go, "Yeah, I talked to him and he still said no." And then if they want to talk to him, then send them on. But don't take it on yourself. That's how you get in trouble. That's how you get in trouble every time. Because they're going to escalate it around you every time. Underground Avenue says, funny how quickly things change when it bothers them. Lego Henry. Oh, Lego Henry. Lego Henry's cool. I know because it's Lego. Yep, not the same situation, but one year, myself and a colleague and our boss were traveling out of state to attend a work conference. Our boss was flying out a few days earlier, but he was flying back with us. Even though it was significantly out of the way, he told my colleague to pick me up on the way to the airport. So the company not only had to reimburse airport parking for one car, then he realized that he would be riding back with us and that he and my colleague would have to go significantly out of the way to drop me off before continuing on their way. Suddenly, it was no problem for the company to reimburse parking for two vehicles. I drove myself to the airport. It's wild. Penny wise and pound foolish. Drives me nuts. Caltanis says, at least he realized and said he'd back you. Too many leaders have too much ego to accept that. Good job on you and good job on the boss for eventually accepting he was wrong. Yes. Yes. And he should have apologized too, by the way. Apologies are a very good thing. James says, I want to talk to your boss. Okay. Wow, that was easy. So easy. Just talk to the boss. Go ahead. The Sackville, this is Evil Buildings. It's entitled The Sackville Cube, a giant cube-shaped building. That is not the Ann Arbor cube. And yes, the Ann Arbor does have a cube. It's the ice cube. The ice cube, because it's an ice skating arena for Olympic athletes. It's where a lot of your ice dancers train. OP says the Sackville Cube is a white windowless 14-story structure that looms at the edge of town, dominating otherwise quaint low-rise skyline. It's not technically a cube, it's a rectangular prism, but nonetheless it sits there lurking like something out of the sci-fi podcast Welcome to Night Vale, or a temple from a lost civilization. Despite its imposing presence, the cube's purpose is actually quite mundane. It's a silo for frozen berries. Although its official name is still slightly anonymous, sounding Atlantic Auto Gold. But in a place like Sackville, something as intriguing as a cube is guaranteed to spark people's imaginations. And in 2020, when the pandemic put art and life as we know it on hold, the cube found its true purpose as a giant video projection screen that August. Oh, that's a great idea. I should do that more. The town's arts organization came together to present the Cube Show, a mix of film, video, art, and live performances projected onto the wall of the massive structure. That's cool. 100 Cats on a Plane says, I always wondered how frozen fruits are stored all year efficiently. 100 cats on a plane sounds worse than snakes on a plane, to be honest. Green Eye says, is that where the Sackville Bagginses live? Sackville Bagginses? Beer Slaying Beaver says, seeing Sackville on a sub like this, it was as weird as seeing the cube itself while driving down the highway on the way to NB. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be, it can't be Nebraska, right? North something, North British, I don't know. I don't know what NB is supposed to be. You're on a worldwide platform, dude. You got to spell things out. Next is AITAH. It is entitled AITAH for telling my dad he raised a criminal after he insulted my kids. I, 36 female, grew up with my brother as the golden child. We were both extremely intelligent, and there was always this unspoken competition between us. The thing is, even though I often had more achievements, it was very clear my dad had a soft spot for him. My brother ended up using his intelligence in a very different way. He got involved in serious crimes and became the brains behind it, even manufacturing weapons for criminals. Eventually, someone turned him in to save themselves, and my brother was arrested. My dad was devastated. He fell into a deep depression, and oddly enough, that's when he started getting closer to me. Meanwhile, I went to college, built a successful career. I'd rather not specify for privacy. Fine. Married my high school boyfriend, and now we have 4 kids. My husband and I made a very intentional decision about how to raise our kids. No prejudice and no strict gender roles. Good parents. You're to be commended, OP. This comes from personal experience. My husband lost an uncle who was gay and took his own life because of it. We also lost a trans friend who did the same after feeling rejected by their parents. That left a huge impact on us, and we want our children to grow up knowing they will be loved no matter what. It's literally similar situations are why I have 3 kids. Because I knew too many people that had 2 kids, and something happened to one of the kids, and the other kid was messed up because of it. Like, too much attention, not enough attention. Like, both ways, like, it's bad. It's bad. And my husband had the same experience with one of his friends. Here's where things went wrong. My 2 oldest kids, 10 and 12, spent a weekend at my parents' house. When I went to pick them up, they looked quite upset, and like they'd been crying. I asked my mom what happened. She got visibly nervous. Then my dad came in, already yelling. He said he had to do mine and my husband's job. My husband stepped in and asked what he meant. My husband said he saw our kids playing together with both toy cars and dolls, and this would confuse him. No! Do you know what the first gift my son got when my daughter was born? A doll from my mother-in-law, because he needed to learn how to take care of babies too. And now he's a wonderful father. He said that things should be separated and that he gave them a proper scolding and punished them for playing with cars and dolls. Are you kidding me right now? At that point, my husband immediately took our kids to the car. I stayed and argued with my dad. It escalated quickly, and he said, "It's not my fault you're raising gay kids." That's when I snapped and said, "And you raised a criminal." I do stuff like that. Like, it just pops out. You can't control it. Like, all of the pent up frustration just pops out in one sentence. I get it. I went further and told him that if he thinks kids turn a certain way just because of how they're raised and by his logic, my brother became a criminal, would also be his fault. They're not wrong. If that's how it works, that's how it works. He went completely silent after that. My mom later told me I went too far and crossed a line. Well, that's your mom's opinion. Maybe you keep your husband in check, ma'am. I left and I haven't really processed everything yet. I feel like I also brought up my brother because in some way I still resent him, and that's understandable. What making this harder is that almost my entire family is against me right now. They think I was cruel and disrespectful. What about him being cruel and disrespectful? On the other hand, my husband's family, who are still grieving his uncle, are completely on our side. His grandmother, his uncle's mother, even called me crying, saying she was proud of us for doing what she felt she couldn't do. She told me the feeling of helplessness after losing someone just for who they are is unbearable, and that she wishes she had been stronger back then. Oh, that's heartbreaking. That poor mom. I can't even imagine. So now I'm stuck between being told I went too far and being told I did the right thing by defending my kids. AITA. Senator Blink quoted, "My mom later told me I went too far and crossed the line." Now mom suddenly finds her voice. Where was that when her husband was punishing the kids for playing with toys and yelling his head off about them being gay? NTA, mom raised a criminal too. I wouldn't let the kids spend unsupervised time with your parents anymore. I wouldn't have anything to do with these parents anymore. Like, if that is your attitude, you do not need to be around my kids. Full stop. Like, you can have that. You can have those thoughts, but don't express them to my children. A ferocious pineapple said, "Well, the answer is in your question. Seems like mom was in agreement with the treatment from OP's dad." Yeah, exactly. Iron Panzer says, agreement or complicity makes no difference. Exactly. Second top rated comment is, the internet is for porb. NTA, Your dad apparently can give it, but can't take it. Also, it's not his decision how you raise his kids. He can wang back off to the 60s with this homophobic horse crap. I don't even think the 60s were quite that bad. Also, do you really trust him to watch your kids after that? Somebody else made a good point. Talk to your kids and see if they want to see him again. Let them know you'll support them whatever they want. OP says, no, I don't trust him anymore after this. I really thought he was different with his grandkids, but I was wrong, and I won't be leaving my children alone with him again. I think what made everything hit even harder is that I'm still grieving the friend I mentioned in my post. Oh, you know what? Good. Good that you're grieving your friend because it made you find your voice with your father. That's a good thing. JD Jang says, OP, you might have snapped at your father out of anger, but what you said was correct. Your brother was the golden child and your father is sexist. This has an effect on how a person was raised and how they turn out. The simple fact of the matter is that your family did raise a criminal. The method of raising girls turned out to be responsible women, and their method of raising boys turned out to be a criminal man. And your in-laws turned out your husband. Between the two families, which should you be listening to? A ferocious pineapple answers, yeah, exactly. So often these posts are, all I can think is, well, you could have handled it, said it better, kinder, but especially in this case, OP is right. And sometimes the harshness is necessary to sort of shake people awake to realize their double standards. Eat This Crap says, no, I think if OP has said it kinder, mom and dad would not have gotten the message. Yeah, sometimes you got to be direct and honest, especially when people don't take the hint the first time. Next, we have Neighbors from Hell, and it is entitled AITA. Someone keeps leaning a large sign for a building company on my garden wall. Well, that's kind of annoying. For context, I live on the corner of a cul-de-sac. A couple of weeks ago, how do you live on the corner of a cul-de-sac? Aren't cul-de-sac circles? Okay, never mind. I'm being facetious. A couple of weeks ago, I came home to find somebody had put a large pallet with a sign for a building driveway company on the corner of the road I live on. The signs were leaning up against my garden wall and the garden of the house opposite. I thought at the time this was odd and a little annoyed as no one asked me if this was okay. So I just laid the sign face down, and I really didn't want to look at it like I was advertising a company I don't know and hadn't used. I tried ringing the number on the sign, but it just rang out. Okay, so she's done her due diligence and tried to get a hold of them. On the Monday, the sign on my neighbor's garden had moved further up the road, but the one on my garden had been picked up and was facing out again. I left it another couple of days, but then I got annoyed again and moved it up the road to be with the other sign. A few days later, one of the signs up the road was gone, but the other was back leaning against my property. I would have taken it at that point. Taken it destroyed. I moved it across the road in anger, and literally 10 minutes later it was back, so someone must be watching. I tried to call the number again, but no answer. Why have they not talked to me about this? Why have they removed one from my neighbors, but kept putting one back to my house? I'm tempted to put it in my boot. We should. And drive it several states away. Several streets away, sorry. States would be better. AITA. No, absolutely not. They should have gotten the signal that you don't want the sign there. Stop putting the sign in my yard. I would have, the second time it showed up, I would have taken it and tossed it in a bin. Updated. Just talked to the neighbor across the street. Turns out these cowboys tied one of these signs to their fence twice, as well as tying one to a lamppost on the same road. They were able to tell me which house had used the builders, so we both carried the sign up the road and have just chucked it in their front yard. Let's hope it stays there. I don't think that's going to help you. Tenshi Girl says, sounds like someone left trash on your property and you should get rid of it. 100%. Queen of Caffeine answers, yep, I had a neighbor a while back who grew and sold plants out of his yard. I live on the corner and kept finding his advertising sign on holders in my yard the first time. I took them to him and asked him to please not use my yard. Dude tried to arguing and being rude to me, and then put the signs back in my yard anyway. Oh, I'd be so mad. I took them and bent the metal holders, put it all in the trash. It took 2 or 3 times of doing this, and his signs magically disappeared across the street. As a bonus, across the street was a station of some kind for the water company. So within a day, the city made him move his signs as well. Oh, that's excellent. That is excellent. Emma Peel says, stop putting it back. Throw it away / destroy it. Exactly. Glossy Tempt answers, honestly, at this point, I'd just get rid of it. You have tried moving it, and they keep putting it back. So that's on them. Yeah. Like the second time it was up, it would be going in the trash. I don't mess with people. I don't mess with silly things. MHW says put it in the trash. Make sure you spray paint trash on it. Oh, yes, definitely. Or destroy it before you put it in the trash. Next, we have Benign Existence, and it is entitled, A Client Gave Me Something I Collect Today Just Because I Pointed Theirs Out. My job has me drive to a bunch of clients to pick up wastewater samples for them. Today, I went to a mobile home park's office. In the garage where they store the samples, I saw a glass telephone pole insulator on a table. As I was filling out paperwork, the client walked in, and I made a comment. I like the insulator you have here. She said an old man who recently moved out left it for them as a gift and that she didn't know what it was. My uncle used to take these and try and sell them at flea markets. So I know exactly what they're talking about. I only learned about these last spring. I found quite a few by the railroad through my college town, the oldest being from an 1870s telegraph pole. Because of that, I know a little bit about them. They used to stick these on the top of the telephone poles to help preserve the current traveling through the wires. The wires would get wrapped around the notch in the top and prevent any energy from getting lost with contact with the wood. Then she stuck her hand out and said, well, here you go. She said she was just going to use it as a paperweight if she kept it, and I thanked her for it and brought it to my work van. I'm working on getting it cleaned up. It's in good condition, but it was a smoker's home for a while and has some residue on it. It's a clear Hemingway 17, which I think is a pretty common one made between the 1920s and 60s. It was incredibly kind of her to gift me that insulator. It really made my day. Of all the things clients gave me today, this has got to be top of the list. I'm looking forward to get it cleaned up and add it to my shelves in the living room. Thank you again to the manager of that office. Well, that's very nice. I mean, if they don't know what it is and it has no value to them, giving it to somebody who does value it is a good option. Orig Prod says, very coincidentally, a few days ago, I was on a train across Pennsylvania through some pretty rural areas. There's a good stretch where we traveled beside an obviously abandoned telephone line, poles falling or missing, occasionally one wire linking a few of them. Then I saw insulators on some of the poles and remembered back in the 70s, yes, I'm old, these were considered a collector's item, and I wondered idly if people still did that. I guess they do. Well, yeah. And they become more valuable because there's fewer of them. Next, we have Found Satan. And it says, I would cry. I probably would too. I don't know yet. Someone should make a haunted house where it's not that scary and the props look poorly made, but the exit is fake and the real haunted house begins when you think you've left it. Oh, that's evil. Oh, that's so bad. Please calm down. It's captioned, please calm down, Satan. Nathan for You did it. Oh, good. OP says he's evil. He's Nathan for You is crazy. Enduring Fulfillment says, oh my goodness, this is like psychological torture, not a spooky house. I often eat nutmeg says, it's genius. Someone to think of that. They must have gone to one of Canada's top business schools. Next we have Just No Mill. It is entitled, Phil asked husband to take his mother for Mother's Day. It's my first Mother's Day. Oh, no. Oh, I remember I didn't get Mother's Day until my mother-in-law died. I love my mother-in-law, don't get me wrong, but Mother's Day was all about her. Also, Mother's Day sucks and they shouldn't even have it. Mother's Day always sucks. Always. I'm a mom to 4 angel babies, including my son, who was born and passed away shortly after birth. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry, OP. That is horrible to have to go through. Oh, I can't even imagine. I've seen those little caskets, and they're heartbreaking, even if you don't even know anything about what's going on. They're heartbreaking just to look at. After 4 miscarriages, I now have a daughter. She's 10 and a half months old. I suffered miscarriages, sepsis, PTSD, post sepsis, PPA, PPD because of how I was treated by my in laws. It's all there in my profile. It's a mess. My mother in law always made things about her. She stole my daughter's first solid experience. She stole my gift ideas for my daughter, and now Mother's Day. Enough is enough. I endured pain and suffering to have my daughter, and I put myself through a lot. Even if I ignore what my in laws did, how can they expect me to share my first Mother's Day after so much loss? I mean, share, yeah. Take over, no, there's a difference. I have I have daughters. Last 2 Mother's Day, I would go to the store and break down in tears thinking on my son. Um, what he would have done and how I would have celebrated with him. And my mother-in-law has another son, but why all expectations from us? I flipped this morning when my husband told me his dad asked about taking his mom to brunch on Mother's Day. I flipped and said a stern no, and I told him he can go, but I won't. She's not my mother, so it's not my Mother's Day. You really have some animosity for this person. I want to celebrate with my daughter at home, maybe go to the store and buy flowers together for my son's memory table, like we always do, and have brunch with her. We had a heated argument, but I'm not adjusting this time. I'm not at all. If you read my past experience, I have put through emotional distress and anxiety causing me PPD, that's postpartum depression, and it made me paranoid for months. Am I overreacting? Maybe a little. I mean, it is his mom. Should she have to give up Mother's Day because you became a mother? No. My husband said he will say no, just wanted to run past this idea by me, but since he didn't get anything for her, it might be a quick run. I said no because I will be the one who won't be happy because she will make it about herself. You're going to be disappointed anyway. I recommend the day before or after, but not that day. And she said this isn't her first Mother's Day either. She has celebrated 34 so far, so she can miss a day this time to celebrate on another day. Am I rude and overreacting? Edit. My husband said no to his dad. He has my back, but I think they are trying to guilt trip him and manipulate him. He feels confused and needs me to validate what we should do as a family. He has gone low contact with his parents because they cause me anxiety, and we have agreed they are not a good influence around our daughter. He supports me fully, but is just mad at his dad demands without even thinking once or asking about his plans. Good for him. Otherwise, I would have flipped out more, but I know he loves me and chooses me. But the request made me flip a second. I don't know. I'm torn on this. I think you can be more flexible. It is his mom. And it is Mother's Day. Fickle Moon says, top rated comment, just be pointing out that all the people saying Mother's Day is for active mothers, while I know this is intended to support LP, it might actually be raising some complicated feelings for her with all her previous losses and wondering if she's deserved to observe Mother's Day in the past. Personally, I don't love that mentality for that reason. Yeah, your mom's your mom. Trust me, moms are not off duty ever. I have grown kids. I worry about them all the time. I'm not off duty ever. Hummer says, don't worry about some poster calling you exhausting. Just keep posting if it makes you feel better. Thank goodness for your update. I'm relieved. Yeah. Petty Revenge entitled Boyfriend's Female Best Friend Tried to Sabotage Our Relationship Every Time. I let her lie until she exposed herself. Ooh, this sounds juicy. A bit of a long one, but worth the read. I tried to sum up as best I could. Oh, my eye itches. I don't know why. Can you tell me why? Probably allergies. It's nice out. My boyfriend and I, 36 male and female 30, have been together almost a year when this happened. Our relationship was genuinely good and we got along well. I laughed a lot and I didn't really fight over stupid things. The only issue was one female friend of his, Tammy, female 30. So same age as OP, and then the guy's about 6 years older. To this day, I still don't fully understand what her motivation was. I guess that she did not like that he was serious about someone else. She was also still friends with his ex, so I always suspected she was trying to sabotage us on purpose. They were roommates along with his ex-girlfriend. His ex had cheated, so she'd moved out and moved provinces. It was really obvious she still wanted another chance, but he wasn't interested. Well, of course not. You never take a cheater back once you broke up. They've been broken up for 6 to 8 months before we started seeing each other. The weirdest part is that Tammy and I actually became close. I liked her, which is probably why I ignored my gut instinct for so long. Whenever it was just the two of us, she'd tell me things my boyfriend supposedly said, like, I don't think he's over his ex. He told me that. Just little comments that planted insecurity in my head. Around the same time, my boyfriend started acting differently toward me, and our relationship suddenly had trust issues. One time, Tammy got annoyed because he didn't want to stay out drinking with her and instead wanted to come home and hang out with me. I thought it was weird, but I brushed it off. I never brush things off like that. That's weird. Things were tense between my friend group and theirs. My friend said they didn't like her and that I should talk to my boyfriend about some of the things she was saying, but I didn't want to be one of those controlling people who told their partner they couldn't be friends with girls, and I was genuinely trying to fit into this group. This abruptly came to an end. I'm going to sneeze, possibly. Now that I said it, I probably won't. One night I went out drinking with Tammy. At some point I blacked out completely. I barely remember everything. I remember Tammy driving, and I remember some guy she said she knew being around. The next thing I know, I'm waking up in my own apartment in my own bed next to that guy, with Tammy walking into the room angry. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, we were both fully clothed and on top of the colors. Not that it excuses anything at all, but pause before you jump down my throat. Well, how did you get blackout drunk? Not blaming her. If something happened, it would not be her fault. But I'm always curious about that. Not because I'm worried about her being blackout drunk, so much as I'm worried about them drugging her. The guy, I called him Peter, told me I'd been really sick throwing up and that Tammy basically ditched him there with me. He said he was too drunk to drive, and she was also really drunk and should not have been driving. He didn't want to leave me alone because I was in bad shape. I'm also a type 1 diabetic, and he knew that. So he said he stayed because he was genuinely worried about me. Well, this sounds like a good guy. Let's go get this guy some green flags. I told him he probably should have called an ambulance, but I was thankful not to have been left alone, and upset that my friend put me in a terrible situation where so many things could have gone wrong. After he left, I was so sick that I ended up going to the hospital. I tried multiple times calling my boyfriend, who didn't answer the phone. I then checked my call logs, and I also called him a few times last night, but he was likely sleeping. It also took me forever to find my phone, and it was in a really weird place in a drawer. And after reflecting over several days, I've come to the conclusion that she likely hid it on purpose. She likely also drugged you on purpose. When I got home, my boyfriend had put all my stuff outside my door and blocked me on everything. Ooh, that's not good. Eventually, I got a hold of him and told him I genuinely felt like I'd been drugged and had no clue what happened. Probably because you've been drugged and have no clue what happened. Tammy had already told him that I was all over Peter and that I slept with him. Neither of those things happened. I was furious, and then I knew that she had obviously set me up and perhaps even roofied me. I just couldn't prove it. So I started piecing the whole night together. I went back to the bar, talked to the bartender, who I knew, asked what she saw, and who I talked to everything. Then I talked to Peter, who confirmed nothing happened between us. He told me Tammy was acting weird all night, and when I started throwing up, she basically left me there with him, a man I didn't know. He stayed because he didn't know if he should call an ambulance and didn't want to leave me alone. Apparently, Tammy came back later to check on me, which also meant she drove home drunk and then drove back drunk. So she came and left. So she left and then came back, right? I also got perspectives on other people who had been there all night. More people I talked to, the less Tammy's version made sense. Meanwhile, Tammy was telling a different story, insisting she had only told my boyfriend that she saw Peter and me in bed together and wasn't going to lie to him, even though she set up the whole thing. My boyfriend broke up with me anyway. I get the situation sucks. He's going to believe his best friend of several years over me. At that point, I decided that even if we never get back together, I was not going to let this girl ruin my reputation and walk away clean. So I pretended everything was fine. I stayed friendly with Tammy, acted normal, because I wanted to get her comfortable and keep talking. Eventually, I convinced my boyfriend to give us another shot. We started talking and hanging out again. The second that happened, Tammy started acting weird. The first day I went over there, she saw me on the doorbell cam and immediately texted him, asking why I was there. I saw the text. That led to my boyfriend and I arguing, and a bunch of inconsistencies started coming out. Things she had told him about me, things she had told me about him. He started realizing that maybe she had been playing both sides, but he still wasn't fully convinced that she would have gone so far as to put something in my drink and that I'd likely drank too much. So I decided I needed proof. When Tammy got home, I asked my boyfriend to give us some privacy and leave. I put my phone on record and calmly confronted her. No yelling, no drama. I just asked her to tell me what happened and explain her version of everything. She started with the same story she'd been telling, but then she started backtracking. Details changed. Her story shifted. She contradicted herself multiple times. I told her I knew she was lying to people and who told me specific details, and I don't want to be friends with her anymore. That's the part that makes me laugh now. I didn't tell my boyfriend I recorded her. I wanted to see what she would tell him happened during our conversation first. Smart girl. My thinking was if she lied about the conversation I literally had proof of, then I could prove she lied about everything else too. And that is exactly what happened. Tammy told him that I threatened her. She said I told her I would punch her if she didn't change her story to my events/version of the story. That she was scared for her safety. I told him that it was completely untrue, but he didn't believe me. Instead, he told me Tammy didn't feel safe having me in the house. So that if he and I were going to keep hanging out, it had to be at my place. He said he was planning on moving soon, and he secured another place. He had faith in me, but things had gotten too dramatic, and he wanted to distance himself from her anyway. This wasn't good enough for me. I was honestly offended, but I also understood why he was conflicted. He had been friends with her for over 7 years, and one of those reasons I loved him was because he was so fiercely loyal to the people he cared about. We also had been friends before dating, and I knew what kind of person he was. I wasn't going to let her win, so I let Tammy keep talking. I let her spread her version of events to the friend group for about 2 weeks. Then once I heard her latest lie, though, someone else I knew it was time. I sat my boyfriend down and played the recording. He was completely shocked. He has already stopped trusting her, but this was next level. He was sick over the fact that she had lied so much and manipulated both of us and potentially damaged the best relationship he ever had. He moved out immediately, stayed at my place until he found another rental. We told the friend group I had recorded her and that she had lied about basically everything. The funny part is, after all that, Tammy did absolutely nothing. She didn't defend herself. She didn't respond to messages. She didn't even try to fight it. She moved too, stopped talking to everyone in that group, and basically disappeared. She embarrassed herself so badly that she removed herself. Best ending though, my boyfriend and I just celebrated 4 years together, and we have a genuinely happy life now. Edit. I picked Tammy because her real name starts with T. It was literally the first name that popped in my head. I didn't really put any thought into it. Edit 2 for grammar. When I had arrived home initially, edit 2. When I had arrived home initially, I wasn't capable of making decisions myself. It wasn't until the next day, like I'm talking 4 or 5 p.m. the next day, I was coherent. Apparently, I'd been throwing up from when we all arrived home around 2:30 until about 7 to 8 a.m. Tammy, according to the guy, left around 4 a.m. Came back around 1 p.m. I was still unwell. I woke to her in the doorway. I was like WTF is going on? I saw him there in panic. I screamed thinking somebody assaulted me. I remember her saying what the wang and leaving. He calmed me down and talked me through what was going on. I went to the bathroom and threw up again. I drank a crap ton of water, and we talked. After we talked, I asked him to leave and then had a mental breakdown for a few hours. I still wasn't better. Everything was really foggy, and I had the worst headache of my life. Then I called a cab and went to the hospital. By the time I was seen by someone, it was late, like 7 to 8 p.m. The nurse told me, depending on what I was drugged with, most leave your system between 8 and 24 hours, depending on the dose. The other factor is because I threw up so much and used the washroom, drank lots of water, I could have flushed a lot of it out of my system. Based on my system, it's likely someone had put something there. I don't doubt it was her, and there's too many factors here. That was my suspicion from the beginning. Oh. Oldness sucks, kids. Oldness sucks. Baby Bear Bennett says, I know her type too well. She didn't leave because she was embarrassed. She left because everyone saw her mask slip and she couldn't manipulate them anymore. I think if you ask around, then you might be surprised how many people she owes money to. Messy League Soccer answers, I know a few people like that. One is a girl who was constantly cheating on her boyfriend and started getting into my life. I told the guy about it. I was separated enough from the girl that I had no reason to ever get involved until she started using my girlfriend of the time to hide her new secret relationship. After I told her boyfriend about her cheating, she was found to be with another guy entirely and was even pregnant. She eventually moved to the other side of the state, and in the last year has been in at least 3 serious relationships that she has zero issue posting about. Second top-rated comment is from Naringham. Quoted, she moved to stop talking to everyone in that group and basically disappeared. She embarrassed herself so badly she removed herself. They say, I don't think this was due to embarrassment. I think it was due to her realizing she's been outed and had no way to get to the level of control she had back. She knew she wouldn't be able to manipulate, gaslight people at the level she'd done before. That's probably true. Carnaviva says she knew she had to start scouting a new friends group ASAP. Start fresh, her cover was blown. Ceramic Toast is the third top-rated comment, and she says, I had a Tammy of my own. It was so bizarre. She tried to lie to a mutual friend about a specific event, seemingly forgot that the mutual had also been there, and remembered exactly what actually happened, and therefore was able to go, what the hell are you talking about? Another long one. Why are these so long today? Next is I Am the Jerk, entitled, Next is Am I the Jerk, entitled, Am I the Jerk for not letting my sister's boyfriend attend my wedding? Oh, ominously, most of the time. But let's find out what he possibly could have done. Me, 31 male, and my soon-to-be wife, Tina, 27 female, are getting married at the end of June. Details have been changed to protect identities. We've gone through finding the venue, catering, flowers, invitations, band, etc., with everything paid for and ready for the big day. We wanted a relatively small wedding. Our guest list started around 50 people and is now up to 67, including children. And there are still some unconfirmed RSVPs, too. If all the guests invited, the guest list will be 72. That's a really small wedding. I don't think everyone will show up, as this happens at most weddings. Now the drama. My sister Melinda, female 19, asked if she could bring her new boyfriend of 1 month, Donnie 20, to the wedding. Why not? I mean, they're dating. Give her a +1. Who cares? Some background. Melinda is the baby of the family and always gets her way. She's very spoiled and generally unaware of what the real world is. She can always count on her parents to have her back and cater to her needs. She's sweet and puts on the baby face act like she isn't so smart, and she actually is. She lacks common sense and can be very selfish at times, so not very smart. I still love her very much, but my parents did and still do treat her better than me. My parents are good parents. However, they do display blatant acts of favoritism toward my other siblings. I'm often excluded from family excursions. I feel like I can't talk to my parents because um, they get upset and start the "I guess I'm just a horrible mother" trope. They can be very manipulative and see no wrongdoing in their parts, and I don't fault Melinda for this because my parents did this with their parenting. Tina and I said her boyfriend couldn't come due to the catering being paid off, which it is, and would cost us more money to add him. Um, you catered for 72 people and you only got 67 coming. I'm confused. We also don't want someone who has no connection and who most likely won't be in our lives 6 months from our now wedding. Well, I'm sure there's other people that are going to be like that too. She was single when we sent out the invitation months ago. She didn't receive her own invitation because she lives with my parents. She never had a plus one because she didn't need one and she didn't ask for one. Well, she's asking for one now. Melinda's also a bridesmaid, so she wouldn't be busy getting ready and wouldn't be able to sit with or be with her boyfriend until the reception. Okay. So he would essentially be there by himself over half the day. We don't know him as they just got together. I don't believe he knows our names. How do you know that? What makes you think that? I'm sorry, but the way you think makes me think that you are the jerk. I understand they could be together forever, but I just feel like the relationship is still too new, and I don't see a reason why he would need to see me and Tina commit each other under God when he doesn't know our families. Every important event Melinda attends, she brings different people with her that she's no longer friends with or in relationships with. She also got asked to the prom at my proposal by her old boyfriend. That's a story for another day. They didn't even go to prom together. They broke up. He's in some of her graduation photos. Okay. So we told her he couldn't come, and she sounded sad but okay. I thought that was the end of it. Fast forward to the mess. My dad sent me a text saying Donnie was coming to the wedding because we wouldn't have that many people there on our side, and there was no reason why he couldn't come. Tend to agree with that. This upset me because we're telling us what's going to happen at our wedding. Also, I'll add, my parents did give us some money, and we used it toward the catering. It paid for most of the food, but not all. We still had to pay for the extra people. But you invited 67. You invited 72 people. That's not extra people at this point. And any extra people that we add would be out of our pockets. I'm adding this to be fair. Maybe Dad will pony up the money for you, honey. Did you ask? Tina's family also helped financially. We asked for no help from either of our families. Everything we received was offered. We still pay for 3/4 of our wedding by ourselves. After I received this text, I called my parents and expressed to them that I didn't want to argue, but they immediately started demanding that we let Donnie attend the wedding so that Melissa would have someone to be there with because she would be bored at the wedding. I explained why I said no, but soon that turned into an argument where they called me and my soon-to-be wife selfish. They told us we didn't know how weddings worked, and my sister would be sad if Donnie couldn't come. I told them that she hasn't been there with him that long, and what if they break up? He'll now be in my wedding photos. What wedding photos? The reception? Who cares? He's not going to be in the family pictures or the wedding party pictures or any of that. People put way too much emphasis on their stupid wedding photos. It's ridiculous. Then it got to the point where they said they weren't coming to the wedding, giving me an ultimatum. I refused and ended the call with them. My parents went on to tell the rest of my family, and now they're telling me to just let him be there so I won't regret them not coming. My aunt and brother are on my side, and they think the parents will regret missing out this event later on. I'm always the bigger person in the situation, and I'm tired of it. My parents went on to tell the rest of the... never mind. I didn't get one off far enough. It's my wedding, and I think I should choose who to celebrate with. I want to find a way to just end this because I don't want the drama to distract from our wedding, and I do want my parents there. Well, if you want your parents there, then this kid's going to have to come to your wedding. You're not even going to notice he's there. Trust me. You're not even going to notice. Unless he does something stupid, you're not going to notice he's there. At the same time, not if they're acting like this. I also believe my wishes and opinions have been ignored for their own. So, am I being the jerk for not letting my little sister's boyfriend attend my wedding? No, yes, this is really unfortunately not no bot or AI, so it is AI. Still dealing with this. Update. Thank you for all your replies. I was able to call my parents. I'm going to have a face-to-face conversation with them tonight. Update number 2. Thank you for all your comments. My fiance was the one that convinced me to set up this sit down. We had a long emotional conversation that went back and forth. We agreed to disagree on certain topics. Overall, it came to an agreement that if they all will attend the wedding, my sister is no longer a bridesmaid and her boyfriend will come for the reception. Well, that's sad that sister's no longer a bridesmaid. That seems silly. It was my fiance that wanted us to have a compromise so we could move on. In the grand scheme of things, I do not want to be sidetracked by this. That can take away from our day. I don't deserve that, and most of all, my fiance doesn't. Personally, this is the last time we will compromise for others moving forward as we start this next chapter of our lives. Top comment is, bro, it's your wedding. Put it in plain, not happy, not invited. Obviously, NTJ. Well, they're not missing the wedding anymore, so that's not. Of course, everybody says not NTJ because these are 12-year-olds. Honestly, you're not going to notice them there at all. You would be shocked at how blurry your wedding is. Especially if you have alcohol. That doesn't help. Size of the story. It says can verify. It says if you poke, you get soap. One or more. Bottoms up superbeer.com. I don't get it. I don't get most of these things. I don't understand what it is. Okay, here we go. There's a style at cups at bars where the bottom of the cup can be pushed up to allow it to be filled from the bottom instead of the top. Oh, this allows the bartender to set the cup foam on the filler device while they make other cocktails and take more orders. When the cup is removed off the device, it sticks itself down to the bottom. This usually stays in place while a person drinks their drink, only because an issue when someone decides to push up on the bottom of the cup, which would dump the drink all over. The bar near me has collectible magnets on the bottom of their cups with the different dog breeds on them. They're called bottom fill beer cups. So apparently there's a plastic thing in the bottom. If you push it, the beer comes out. Silly things I did not need to know about. Ooh, it's time for expectation versus reality. This was a prom dress, and she says, I don't even know where to begin. This is very risque. I would not allow my kid to wear the prom. That is not appropriate for prom. Ma'am, you can see your underwear. No, absolutely not. This is what she got instead. Don't shop for your dress on Temu. I mean, this is beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It's fine for red carpet stuff, not prom. Nope. Absolutely not. Frogs and Ferret says it's like a jellyfish from SpongeBob. Shatterly says, I mean, there's no way you were going to get what was in the original picture, but this is hilariously awful. Global Cruise says, I just want to know what the way is happen behind the scenes. Obviously, it's a scam, but to still go through with it and make that just send them a brick and be done with it. Mad Maxturbator says, the first dress looks a bit adult for a prom. Yes, it does. At least from like 25 years ago, I'm probably old and wrong about this. Whereas the second dress is totally age appropriate for any occasion. Wear it with confidence and pride. Impossible Way says the first dress looks a little too adult for most scenarios. I would only really see this flying in a fashion event or one of those big Hollywood events. Everywhere else would be way too much. That being said, your second option is wild. That second dress should be burned so no one ever has to wear anything on it. Wear it to anything. Someone said they would make a lamp out of it. All right, if you haven't already, please like, subscribe, turn on your notifications. I try to go live at least 4 times a week, usually about noon Eastern time. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your enemies. If you have a story of your own or come across a good one in the wild, please send us an email entitled Submission. If you would like an email link to the day's current live, send an email entitled Subscribe. The email is biddybrunchbunch, all one word, at gmail.com. And the email address is also in the description. And just so you know, next month it's going to be 3 days a week because I'm going to take Fridays off next month and probably throughout the summer. Just, it's summer and I need to do things, and it's easier for me to do them in the summer, and I need time. And you would be surprised how much time this show takes to put on. Ooh, real estate. This is a Beach Boys Farmer Lake Tahoe mansion. This is in Incline Village, Nevada. And I want to see this. Alrighty. Where are we going? Come on. There we go. I'm going to click like 3 different times to get. Look at that. Who wouldn't want to live in this clearly hotel place? It's beautiful. Oh, wow. That is so this is $43 million. So you got to be richy rich. 10 beds, 15 bathrooms, 19,000 square feet, not 1,900. I'm still talking poor. Oh, look at that. That is so neat. I would want water running through here, though. That fireplace is gorgeous. Yes, please. Does it come with the piano? Because I don't have one of those. Do I need one of those? The views outside the window are amazing. Nice big dining room with a really weird chandelier. It's an interesting sink. I don't really like it. Do you like the cabinets? Again, no upper cabinets, so you better have a lot of lower cabinets, sir. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's not so bad. That's a lot. Yeah, I love this kitchen. I now love the kitchen. It's beautiful. Functional. I wonder what these are. I suppose they'll tell us. What's a refrigerator? You got your stovetop and your ovens in a sink, but where's the refrigerator? Is it behind here? It might be under there. That's a possibility. Oh, that looks gorgeous. Oh, look at the slide. That's so cool. Oh, that is neat. Two people actually had taste. That's cool. I like that. Nice. Now imagine waking up and seeing that every day. That'd be awesome. Upper balcony level view. Why is there a stove looking thing on there? There is an oven there. Why is there an oven next to the coffee stuff? I appreciate a little coffee station. I have one in my kitchen. It's just made up. Lovely. I actually even like the mural, and I'm not usually big on those. Nice. I don't need a fireplace in my bathroom, though, to be honest. To be honest, I don't need a fireplace in the bathroom. I can't really take baths, so. Cool theater room. Yes, please. That is definitely cool. See, this is what we're going to do with ours. We're going to have movie posters and memorabilia from old shows and stuff that can go on the wall. This is probably a wine cellar would be my guess. I don't need that. Another bathroom. Another lovely bathroom. I like it. Ooh, a sauna. Cool. With a phone. You have a sauna with a phone. Shower. Nice. A little bench to sit down on. I would appreciate that. Huh. A bedroom with a staircase. That's unusual. Where did the staircase go? To another bedroom? Why is there a ladder in this bedroom? That's weird. And those views are gorgeous. Another bedroom. The bedrooms are huge. Of course they are. Workout room with another little sinky area, bar area, I guess. Wow. Yeah, I could read a book there all day long. Another dining area. Another TV area. Nice. Nice big garage. You got your bikes. I always check to see if there are electric bikes. We plan on getting some. I hope it happens soon. It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years we haven't gotten any. I'm kind of not happy about that. Cottage house. Carriage house, I should say. It's ginormous, man. I definitely need a cleaning crew for it. Not just a cleaning person, a cleaning crew, or a 24-hour cleaning person. I'm sure you can stick her in the carriage house. Oh, that's gorgeous. If only I had $43 million to spend. Which I don't and never will. It's built in 1997. It's 2.5 acres. Oh, that's less land than I have. Above the eastern shore of Lake Tahoe. It's been a private world for more than 6 decades. But it was just built in 97, so I'm confused. Surrounded by 6 acres placed in conservation by the family, so that's nice. So you really have more privacy than you would. Let's see. There's a Ganesha door. The entry door is a hand-carved 10-inch solid wood Ganesha door. Presides over the stone arch entry. It has an indoor koi pond that flows at the base of the spiral staircase beneath the hand-painted celestial dome. A home built around the inner life as much of the exterior one. 8 ensuite bathrooms, plus the primary suite. A professional chef's kitchen, a private cinema, wine cellar, tasting room. Oh, that was the other dining room was a tasting room for the wine cellar. Okay, I don't need that. Gym, a boardroom, a cedar sauna, and a steam room. And multiple gathering spaces across 3 floors make this exquisitely appointed estates on the lake. It is beautiful. That is wild. I'll take it. See if we can find radiant floor heating. My son has that. It's nice. Features a breakfast bar, cathedral ceiling, central vacuum. Also much needed. I have that. That's very nice. Elevator entrance foyer, high ceilings, in-law floor plan. So that's cool. Kitchen island, loft, pantry, roll-in shower, sauna, smart thermostat, vaulted ceilings, and walk-in closets. Floor consists of carpet, marble, slate, stone, tile, travertine, wood, and wood. 10 fireplaces. Yeah, because there's one in the bathroom. I don't need one in the bathroom. Fireplaces are gas and wood burning. Comes with dishwasher, disposal, double oven, dryer, gas cooktop, gas range, microwave, refrigerator, self-cleaning oven, smart appliances, and the washer. Laundry has cabinets, laundry room, sink, and washer hookup. But you get the washer and the dryer, so we're all good. 10 parking spaces. Because you ain't living here alone. You're living here with a bunch of people. Taxes, $117,319. It's very tasteful. I mean, we've seen some celebrity houses that are not nearly as tasteful, for sure. Rich and Cleve says, just imagine this. You're in this house and you can't find your glasses. Fling Flam Blam says, just go to your walk-in closet and pick out a new pair from your dozens of alternatives. Probably, yeah. Impossible Internet says, or call your assistant to bring you another pair. Shabby Doo is the second top rated comment. They say, elegant rod iron entry gate. It's wrought iron. I didn't catch that one. I expect better from a real estate agent who will collect commission on $43 million. Yeah, no kidding. Elamata says, the stone in the wine cellar isn't my fave. I won't be purchasing. Throwaway says, there's a fine line between just the right amount of stone and too much stone. Wouldn't it be nice if we could afford this? And I'll have fun till the bank takes a mansion away. So true. So true. Next we have server life, and it is how much is too much. Oh, geez. This is not good. I don't know what those are, but you should not be to do this to make the table straight. That is all. Don't do that to make the table straight. When it comes to wobble wedges, what's your max until you just give up? Golden Abbreviations is the top rated comment, and they say, I never really tried to express this to a customer, even though I think it all the time. Please don't get all handyman trying to shim the tables. At our place, it's not the tables that are uneven, it's the floor. Okay, but the table still needs to be even, sir. It's an old hardwood floor. People move the tables and then get my attention about the wobbly table like it's my first day or this has somehow just happened right now. It did just happen right now. Then I say it sits flat on the spot it was in. So they jam a bunch of napkins or coasters under the table legs for me to pick up when I put the table back where it's supposed to be after they leave. I don't know. It's guys who do it. It makes me feel the way I do when my dad comes over and notices the squeaky door and has to stop everything. Get out the DW40. Maybe you could do that on your own before your dad shows up at your house. Spectacular Sam says, I don't know why I take it so personal when people come in and start rearranging, but it's immediately flames on the side of my face every time. Like when they try and help, and that makes it worse. You aren't qualified to be pushing these tables around, y'all. I think you're putting too much emphasis on other people moving tables in a public space. Deirdre Dre Day, sorry, has the second top rated comment, and they say, had some old dude complain about one of our cement slabs being wobbly, so he moved the entire table after my server assistant and I said we would move it over for him. So he lifted the table and we helped, okay? Everything was cool. Then he was like, the table's still wobbly. And I was like, okay, I'll get some wobble wedges. I keep some in my pocket to be prepared. This old man lifts the table while they were eating, and there's food and plates on it. No point at this story. He was just doing too much. Okay, this is from Confession, and it is entitled, I heard my dad having a heart attack and acted asleep. This was back when I was a teenager. My dad used to beat me routinely and verbally abuse me a lot. I was terrified of him as he was volatile and unpredictable. The night it happened, I was aware of everything that was happening, but acted like I was asleep because deep down I didn't want him to survive. He ended up surviving it, and he's fine now, but it really made me realize how much hate I was carrying in my heart. That's heartbreaking. This is why you don't treat your kids like crap. Top rated comment is from Truckstick Burns. I'm pretty sure as a kid I overheard my drunk uncle dying. He stayed with us a few months, and I hated his drinking and the fighting he brought into the house. He also scared me. I woke up in the middle of the night and I could hear him throwing up and gurgling and grunting, and I was so scared. I just stayed in my bed until it stopped, and he was gone the next morning. He choked on his vomit in his sleep. That's happened. I've had friends who've lost parents that way. I used to feel bad until a friend said to me years later that if he hadn't made me so afraid of him, I would have gone and seen what was happening and likely told my parents and he'd be alive. Yeah, it's not on. Neb Crusher says it's not on you, Kit, my friend. No, it's not. Not at all. Drinking like that is kind of a slow drinking and drugs and that sort of thing. It's kind of a slow suicide attempt. Eventually, it will work, but it takes a while for most people. Play Automatic said my uncle would beat the absolute brakes off me. My father and grandfather too. I have brain damage from all the blows on my head. One day my uncle was using a chop saw and he brought it down on his forehead. Blood was everywhere and he hit the bone and screamed at me to run across the field to get help. I took off running, but for some reason, as soon as I got to the side of the house, I just walked over to the other house and told someone to call 911. I don't know why, but I kind of glossed over and just walked. I don't want to sound like a monster, but it doesn't bother me, nor has it ever bothered me. Acceptable Cry says empathy is a skill that goes both ways. If you consistently do not receive it, you will not be incentivized to give it. 100% true. I hope the next one is like more lighthearted than this. Leb says, I completely missed my mom having a heart attack because I was too busy trying to get ready for work and generally in a bad mood that morning. She was the best person ever. The signs were there, just too self-absorbed to see it. I have CPR training, but I missed it and went to work. She collapsed 15 minutes later and died in the hospital the next day. That is heartbreaking, love. I'm so sorry. Heather says, my mom said she had back pain the night before and said, I think I'm going to die. And because she always cried wolf, I didn't go over until the morning, and shortly after, she literally dropped dead in front of me. Yikes. All the signs were there, and I had saved her several times before, but because of history and reasons, and because I was focused on my family, I assumed she was just being dramatic. This is why you don't cry wolf. Oh, good. It's interesting AF. Reed Wiseman shares Earthsat video from Artemis 2 filmed on iPhone. Only one chance in this lifetime. It's a video. It's pretty cool. I think it's going to be pretty cool. Methinks it'll be pretty cool. Ready? And that's the Earth behind it there. There we go. Now it's in focus.
Would you look at that, man?
This is Earthsat instead of sunset or moonset.
Dude.
That is pretty cool. on before it blinks out. Do we get a flash like we do with the sun? Nope, no fun.
Beam.
No flash, it just disappears. That's pretty cool. That is something most of us might never see again. People want to see something more realistic. Somebody says this top 3 images of all time. I kind of agree. They're saying that the blurry moon was more interesting for most people. Next we have Emma the A-hole, and it is entitled AITA for using my dad's underwear to make a point about the toilet seat. Probably not. See, this seems like it's got a story behind it. This has been going on for so long in my house, I need a third opinion. I, 21 female, live with my parents and younger sister, 13 female. We have a 2-bedroom apartment with 1 bath thanks to old building layout, so all of us share it. The problem is my dad does not lift the toilet seat when he pees. Ew. Ew. Dude, just sit down. He ends up leaving splash marks on the seat, refuses to clean up after himself too. It's not just about how it looks, it also smells and makes it inconvenient for me, my sister and my mother to use the bathroom, checking for stains every time. We have told him many times over the years to just lift the seat, but he refuses or ignores it. He sounds like an ass. I hate men like this. They're just so manly that they can't be bothered to do anything for anyone else. At one point, when my younger sister was younger, like 9, she used to sit without thinking and got a skin rash. Oh, nice. I was really frustrated. It kind of blew up for me recently. I told my dad that if he kept leaving the seat dirty, I would start cleaning it with his underwear. He didn't take me seriously, so I actually did it. Whenever I found stains, I used one of his clean underwear to wipe it. I even used the ones he kept as backup. Eventually, he ran out of clean underwear, and the ones left smelled. So he realized what I'd been doing. We had a big fight about it, and we have not spoken for 2 months now. Some relatives found out and are telling me I'm making a big deal out of a small issue. What? No, are they men? First, they refused to even address the issue when I tried to explain it, and now they just explained to me that it's just a habit he doesn't have. Well, he should get it. We should just make up and not spoil our relationship over this. That's spoiling the relationship, not her. My sister's always telling me to stop fighting, but I feel like this is basic hygiene in a shared space. I know using his underwear was extreme, but I have already tried talking about it for years and nothing changed. I will not lie, it has started to take a bit of toll on me because it started this Cold War in my house, but I feel like I should stand my ground because if I don't, my compliance will slip into other things that are not just minor conveniences. AITA for standing my ground over this. Edit, for some context. Yes, I'm an adult, but I live in India where you don't really start earning till you get a degree, which is at 22 or you are a laborer. I already have a job offer and will be moving out then, but that is 1 more year for me. But I will have to leave my sister behind. Edit 2. A lot of people are suggesting leave the seat up, and I agree. It's a good preventative measure, but we would need to keep it closed when no one is using it because things can crawl up the drain since we live in a decently close to proximity to a forest. Ew. To all the people coming after my mom, please don't. In a culture where a woman's life is defined by her father, husband, and then son, she has done the best she could. We come from a village where she was literally the first woman to have an office job. You know why? Because people did not educate their daughters since they will be married off eventually. That's really sad. She still supports us to the best of her abilities and has her own differences with my father. She did take my side, but I don't blame her for not being an active participant in this since she has her own issues. Would you like a black light? I have several UV lights I can send you. I can send you one, and you can figure out where the splashes are around the whole bathroom because it ain't just going on the seat. Rainbow Raccoon quotes, she used to sit without thinking and got a skin rash, says, that should have been enough of a reason to change his gross habits, NTA. Musical Gear says, given the inequality of the country's culture, it's not surprising I didn't care. He didn't care, says Forged Imagination, and they are correct. Second top rated comment is from Either Ad, and it says, to all the people telling you that you're an adult can just move, can STFU. Your dad is the one who should act like an adult and clean his own piss. NTA. Exactly. Somebody deleted something, and somebody says, if I see that you need me to act like a psycho in order to get to do the thing you're supposed to be doing, well, I will act like a straight up psycho. Babes, we're in this all together now. And the third type of comment is NTA, he's gross and your solution is hilarious. I think it's a perfect solution. You don't get no underwear now, Dad. What do you think now? You're gonna lift it's even if he lifts the seat, it's still all over the place. It's nasty. You can't tell me that pee ain't going everywhere. It was so bad in our house when we moved in, we had to clean. The bathroom wall was covered in pee. Don't know why it was never washed. Next we have Overheard, and it is entitled Freckles. I overheard my roommate talking to the girl who came home with him last night. Roommate, you look so different without makeup. Girl, my morning face is the worst. Look away. Roommate, I can't. I love that you can actually see your freckles now. You should show your morning face more. Girl, shut up. Gentle Whisper says she said shut up, but that compliment lives in her head rent. Isla Stellar answers, yeah, for real. That shut up was absolutely the flustered kind. She's going to be thinking about that line all week. Hopefully all month. The sympathetic Jade says, when's the wedding? Soft Wing answers, ha, slow down. Let him have survived breakfast first. Yahtzee says, roommate, how do you like your eggs, girl, unfertilized? Radiant Muse that says, this is a good kind of morning face. Freckles for the win. Freckles win again. Empire redo. Shut up. Next we have True Off My Chest, and it is entitled, my girlfriend had a cute Freudian slip last night. Last night I was on the phone with my girlfriend like always, just chatting about random things while she meal prepped for the week. At one point she got on the topic of how much her sisters had accomplished recently and how proud of them she was before absentmindedly commenting to me that I married the underachiever of the family. She immediately tried to backpack and apologize for letting that slip out, but I told her it was cute and I didn't mind. She was just relieved that I didn't freak out, saying other people probably would have. I just think it's sticking in my mind now because I can't lie. I've always thought of the possibility of marrying her too. We should just have been together as a couple long enough for me to be comfortable with it yet. We haven't been dating for even a year, but we were best friends for about 7 years beforehand, and it was always a very slow burn on our relationship. I guess that moment last night made things feel really real for me. Like this is someone who has treated me better than anyone else in the entire time I've known her. Now I want her to be my life forever, and I think she feels the same, but I don't want to rush things. We took years to get together so we can take our time making sure we do it right. I just wanted to gush about the butterflies it gave me to hear her say something like that. That's so cute. So cute. I'm glad they like it. Next we have What Do I Do? And it is entitled, There's a Frog in My Bathroom. How do I get it out? Frog tax. Look at this little cute frog. You pick it up and you take it outside. That's how you get it out. It's not that difficult. Stop it. Just pick it up and take it outside. Command Cornflake says, unfortunately, this is now his bathroom. He's asking on Frogget how to remove you. In all seriousness, Bull and Cardboard take him outside near a road. Oh, just pick him up. It's not that hard. Toward madness is the second top rated comment. And they say, with the very hands you used to type this. He's cute. Oh, please. Littlest Pet Schwab. Littlest Pet Schwab. Stop it, so cute. Be nice to him. Give me room says, I don't think that's a frog, that's a toad. And they are correct. Next we have, oh no, consequences. It is entitled, Man Issues Ultimatum Over Inheritance and Ultimately Gets the Boot. This is from Am I the Jerk 8 months ago. AITJ, my fiance told me this is it, take it or leave it. So I gave him the ring back and told him to get out of my house. My fiance Tom, 37 male, and I, 27 female. Okay. No. She was 26. They've been together 2 years. She was 26 and he was 35 when they got together. No. That is too far distant. No. Too far distant ages. He moved into my house 6 months ago and proposed a month ago. I thought we were solid, but now I'm questioning everything. I inherited a fortune 3 years ago. It changed my life, but I live below my means, as you should. I work part-time as a teacher, travel, and have a nonprofit in the works. I budget carefully so the money lasts. Not only my dad and sister know the full amount. When Tom moved in, I paid everything except most groceries. He wanted us to eventually buy a bigger house together so his dad could move in. Girl, no. Absolutely not. I said no to living with in-laws, but suggested maybe a separate unit someday. He pushed back, but agreed we need to discuss finances first. Tom earns $10,000 a month and has $100,000 saved. We have millions invested. I have millions invested and about $40K a month income from it. That's pretty good. When I told him, he was shocked. He said, if I have so much, why not just buy the house and cover everything? I explained that just because I can doesn't mean I should. I proposed separate finances, a joint account for expensive, and splitting costs proportionally to income. Well, your income, I don't think that works in that situation. I also told him I wanted a prenup. That's fair. That's when things blew up. He argued that we should be equal partners, meaning I buy the house in both our names, even if he doesn't contribute. No, absolutely not. We fought about this for days. Eventually, he gave me an ultimatum. Final offer. You buy the house and we each own 50%. I'll sign the prenup, take it or leave it. I asked if that meant breaking up if I said no, and he hesitated but said yes. So I left it. I took the ring off. I told him it was over and that he needed to move out. He backtracked, saying he didn't really want to end things and just wanted me to agree. Well, of course. But you gave an ultimatum. And now you cannot back out of it, sir. He accused me of throwing away our relationship for money, and I told him he threw it away by demanding I fund our life and give him half of the assets I work to protect. Now I'm wondering if I sabotaged my relationship. No, he did. I love him, but I don't think it's fair to bankroll a grown man or accept ultimatums about my own money. Am I the AITJ? Edit. When we first started dating, he understandably questioned how I managed my lifestyle on teaching salary. I explained that I had a small inheritance, which allowed me to buy my house and have some savings to live on. I admit I may have been wrong to be vague, but at the time we were just starting to date and I wasn't comfortable sharing all the details yet. And that's fine. He doesn't need to know. He shouldn't have even asked. My house is nice, but nothing extravagant. And during our relationship, we always split expenses 50-50, dates, trips, everything. When he moved in, I offered to keep covering the utilities since I was already paying them, and he would handle groceries. Things were fine until after we got engaged. I pushed for us to discuss everything openly before marriage, and we agreed on most things. About his father moving in, this isn't something he wants right away, but he says eventually his dad would move in so he can take care of him. I adore his father, but I personally don't want to live with in-laws. I don't blame you. His solution that we should buy another house together so that he would feel like it's our home instead of him living in my house. I understood that perspective, but the new house would also have to be larger if his dad were to move in, which I'm not comfortable with. About finances. Initially, when we discussed buying another house, the plan was contribute together. But once we started looking at what we could afford, we had to lay out our finances on the table. When he found out my net worth, everything shifted. He said that if we split 50-50, we could afford a bigger house, and since I had the means, I should buy the house myself, but it would still be our house. No, that's not how that works, sir. If I'm buying a house, I'm buying a house. We're not married yet. It ain't your house. Even when we get married, it still will not be your house because it'll be in my name. I told him that whatever amount he contributes would equal his share of equity in the property. Maybe I was naive, but up until this point, I never saw signs of him being a gold digger. He never presumed to pay me for things. He always split expenses fairly. That's why this change has been such a shock. Right now, I'm locked in my bedroom, and I told him he can sleep in the guest room tonight, but that he needs to move out tomorrow. We haven't spoken since. That's where things stand. Thank you all so much for the support and comments. It means a lot. And just to clarify, this is a throwaway account I created for privacy purposes. Update 1. So, I don't know how long this was between times. Wow, this blew up. Thank you so much for all your comments and support. This morning I woke up and Tom had made breakfast and asked if we could talk. He said things got out of control last night and he wanted to explain his side. He told me he was upset I had lied about my finances and felt like I didn't trust him. Why should you have trusted him? He said the money difference made him feel like I would always have more power in the relationship and that he might be vulnerable to financial abuse. Wow. This is why she didn't tell you. Also, men cannot handle it when women have more money than them. Women have been vulnerable to financial abuse for eons. Suck it up. Everybody's vulnerable to that. He insisted that he wasn't interested in my money but wanted to feel I would choose him over the money. He admitted that he handled things badly and should never have reached out the way he did or give me the ultimatum. He said he felt lost and frustrated. The only thing he emphasized really matters to him is his father eventually moving in. They are very close, and he wants to take care of him as he gets older. He apologized and said he doesn't want to lose me and told me he was willing to accept my conditions. I apologized for not being upfront about my inheritance, but I also told him I wasn't sure I could continue the relationship. His reaction last night felt entitled and manipulative, and I'm afraid he was showing me who he really is. I told him I loved him, but I'm worried that money will always be an issue between us. If he's already pushing for a house before marriage, what else might he push for later? I explained the only way I could even considering continuing if he agreed to a bulletproof prenup stating that in case of divorce, he leaves only with what he contributed, nothing more. 2, agreeing to buy a house together, but his equity would reflect his contribution only. I also suggested options like a guest house for his dad or a condo nearby, but not living directly with us. Also, you could do an in-law quarter where he has his own space, his own outside entrance, his own kitchen, his own everything, but it is connected to the house, so he would be very close by. 3, creating a monthly budget where we both contribute proportionally to our incomes to a joint account for shared expenses while we keep our separate accounts for personal money. 4, going to counseling together. He agreed to all of this. Still, I told him I don't know if I can trust him again and needed time to think, and he agreed to go to stay on a hotel for a few days to give us both space. Right now, I honestly don't know what to do. Part of me sees his point and wonders if he just overreacted, but another part of me is afraid that if I ignore this behavior, I'll be setting myself up for bigger problems in the future. I would really appreciate your help figuring out where to go from here. And there's an update. Final update. Still in the same time frame. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for all the comments and support. I took some time away to talk to my sister, my therapist, and my lawyers, and I made my decision. As much as I care for Tom, I realize I can't marry somebody I don't trust. What happened broke that trust, and I know it will always be in the future in the back of my mind in our marriage. Every financial decision, I doubt him, and that's no way to build a future. A few days ago, I asked him over and told him my decision. He admitted he messed up and wanted to try couples counseling, but I told him we're broken up. I agreed to counseling only as a way to see if reconciliation is possible someday. But truthfully, I feel like I'm just delaying the inevitable. I'd already packed his things, and he was hurt when he saw them, and it was heartbreaking, honestly. I feel really bad, but I knew I had to stand firm. He left with his things and is getting a new place. This has been heartbreaking and draining, but I know it's the right choice. Thank you for all the advice and encouragement. It really helped me get here. For those who worried about me making him homeless, don't. He makes good money. We live in a tourist city. Before moving in with me, he lived in hotels and short-term rentals for months. He hasn't paid rent here for 6 months. He'll be fine. He's not ending up on the streets. He hasn't even paid his own rent. That's really sad. Van Driessen is the top-rated comment, and they say Tom definitely overplayed his hand. Stinky Pete said, and it was such a sweet hand. Like, goddamn, I find out my partner has infinite safety due to a fortunate inheritance and responsible living. I'll tell you what, I'd be so happy just to keep on keeping knowing we were secure. Moron. Cakey Cookie says, right? She's already covering expenses for him. Exactly. Stinky Pete is Italian top-rated comment, and he says, I'm loving the idea of someone with $100,000 in the bank being subject to financial abuse because the younger woman had more than that saved, buddy. Ocean T says, I'm so curious as to what he thinks financial abuse is. My best guess is he thought he would be able to hold his salary over OOP and force her to do whatever he wanted once they were married, and how he's big mad that she's not easy to control. Third top rate comment is from Gimp is God, and they say, so him moving his dad in so he could care for him obviously means she's expected to care for him. Exactly. And wanting equal partnership in a house that he's not paying anything for. Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't get over that one. Mildly infuriating. I'll just show you. It's not infuriating. It's kind of funny, actually. The emoji scissors wouldn't close in real life. That's really funny. I find that slightly hilarious. That's more like slightly hilarious instead of mildly infuriating. Ecstatic Hat says, this is the last thing I needed today. Think Sunday answers, my head hurts for knowing too much, and I wish I know less now. No Candle says, fun fact, the internet has made us feel like we know a lot, and the pressure to feel like we have to. In reality, we just know a little about a lot of things. Most of them useless, like this comment on typing. They got it going on. They know. Obafet says, wow, I was just starting to have a good day. The planet is completely wanged. Silk Sanity says, might as well nuke it and start over. Kuro Tora says, can we wait for my pizza? It's in the oven. Just a few more minutes. I don't know. Can you survive the apocalypse? I probably could not. Echovin says, L2 y'all on Apple and Samsung's ones do close. And then there's a bunch of emojis and clip art with scissors. Next we have, am I overreacting? And it is entitled AIO for reporting our Uber Eats driver for breaking the seal on our food bag to place religious pamphlets inside. Yes. No, you're not overreacting. That's ridiculous. This happened today. My husband said I'm overreacting, but I don't think I am. Please help. Your job is not proselytizing, sir. That's not what you're getting paid for. We ordered food from a restaurant through Uber Eats. Like most takeout orders, the food comes sealed in the bag. At least it's supposed to. When the food was dropped off, my husband brought it in. I went to plate up the food and noticed the seal was broken. I asked my husband if he opened it, but he said he did not. When I took out the food, I found religious pamphlets inside. I don't care what religion a person chooses to believe. There's a time and place. Breaking open a sealed food bag and putting pamphlets in somebody's order is not the place. Doing so when you are working is not the time. I'm fairly certain Uber Eats and other delivery services have rules pertaining to this. I reported it and got a refund. My husband said I'm overreacting and made a big deal out of nothing. I'm also aware this could lead to the driver being removed from the app. Oh well. Well, I don't want to be anyone, but I don't want anyone to lose their means of income. I still see this as inappropriate and a food safety issue. Had the pamphlets been left beside or underneath the bag, I wouldn't have as much of an issue with it. However, given that this person chose to break the seal and place things in the bag with next to our food, I think that's gross and why I reported it. AIO for reporting our Uber Eats driver because they broke the seal on our food and placed religious pamphlets inside. No, even if they left it beside or under the bag, still no. No, it's not the time or place. Do that at church. Oogie Boogie I Am says, top rated comment, of course. Please report them. The seal is there for a reason, and if the driver is breaking it for whatever reason, it's beyond their terms and conditions. They'll remove that driver from the app. Opie says, thank you. That's what I told my husband. They seal the food for a reason. We've had drivers put pamphlets in with our food order before, but it was always outside the bag. While I don't agree with placing unsolicited religious papers with someone's order, we usually just threw them away and moved on. But to have broken the seal on the food just doesn't sit well with me. Oogie Boogie answers back. As someone else here has said, they'll get a warning unless they've done this repeatedly, in which case they'll get removed. Never worry about someone suffering the consequences of their own conscious actions. Exactly. Goth Puppet also answered, the moment anyone tacks anything religious onto or into my order, I would be reporting and clawing back my tip. I'm ordering food, not religious conversation. You're absolutely NOR to be reporting. Second top rated comment is from Grounds for the Abstain, says, NOR, your food is sealed for a reason to ensure your safety. Exactly. Opie says, exactly. Well, I doubt the driver harmed our food in any way. It still feels like a food safety issue. Especially if there's like fries and they're open, like from McDonald's and stuff. They don't seal everything. Third top rated comment is from No Barracuda. NOR, if they really needed this job, then they should have read the contract they signed. Breaking seals for any reason is unacceptable. Doing so to proselytize is beyond dumb. Don't. Just don't. That's not your place to advertise things in somebody else's food. That's ridiculous. Now I'm wondering if that's the only reason they do Uber Eats is to proselytize. See where that gets you? It's not good. Next we have Best of Redditor updates. And it is entitled, Boyfriend Called Me a Gold Digger, So I Left. Now he wants my help to pay the rent. Original post is December 18th, 2024. So right before Christmas, he gets kicked out. Kicked to the curb. Quick rant. Not looking for advice, but for people who have been in similar situations. I, 30, have been with my boyfriend, 34, for 2 years. That's same or opposite sex relationship. We moved in together 6 months ago, and all was good. It only takes 6 months. You can be together a year. You can be together 2 years. It's always 6 months. The last 6 months. We had an understanding that we would go 50-50 on chores and bills until we decided to have a child. As I would be putting my body and career on hold, he would obviously need to make up for his lack of risk by contributing more around the house and monetary. Because of this, I believed we had an understanding on how we believed a partnership should work. 2 months ago, we got a slight promotion and pay bump, which meant we adjusted our cut of the bills to reflect that. But somehow he's come to expect me to take up the chores at home. It started with small things that I know he could do, like dishes and laundry, and escalated to sitting down all weekend watching me do my half and leaving his half of the chores to accumulate. He blamed it on stress and added workload, but we're both good corporate and our work at our desk regardless. I would be more understanding if his job was more physically demanding. It got to a breaking point when I noticed mold in the pots he met to clean. If either of us cooks, it's the other's responsibility to clean. That's fair. That's very fair. He just kept a lid on it so I wouldn't notice. I needed to take a day off of work to catch up with all the cleaning he neglected. The last straw was when he came home without groceries, despite it being his week. Usually when either of us is too tired to do groceries, we let the other one know in advance so they can at least order in food. I told him we needed to add a cleaner to the bills if he's not happy doing chores anymore, because I refuse to do them if he isn't contributing fairly too. He made an excuse about not wanting a stranger in our flat. Then he said we need to begin ordering grocery deliveries for the extra cost too if he can no longer be bothered, and he called me frivolous with money. Just trying not to be frivolous with money, sir. So I suggested I would be happy to take up those responsibilities, but it would mean I drop my working days from 5 to 4, and I would expect to be compensated for the sacrifice I'm taking to my own career so he can focus on his responsibilities, because apparently they matter more than mine. I would also expect to be paid an hourly rate for doing the chores at the average market salary for a housekeeper. He seemed surprised and shocked, and I suggest that didn't know how to reply despite having an answer for everything I said before. I started to feel like he was going to try and manipulate me into a situation that was more ideal to him and less ideal to me. And if he loved me, he wouldn't be doing that. So I asked him if his friends put him up to do this because I knew they all struggled to keep girlfriends, and he said proper woman would be happy to look after the house. Ooh, and called me a gold digger. Oh, sir. I was shocked because I wasn't asking for designer items. I was asking for fair compensation for my labor, especially seeing as it would dent my own career and take on all his work. So I called him a gold digger for wanting a private chef and housekeeper for free. I was admittedly angry at this point, and I told him to stop being so proud of his promotion if he was too broke to afford a chef and a cleaner, and instead tries to manipulate the woman he loves to doing it for free. Not really for free, because taking off from my job means I'll be paying for the privilege to clean up after him out of pocket. I told him he was dragging me down, and when we were supposedly meant to build each other up equitably. The flat is his, so when he was ignoring me after the fight, I started packing. He told me I would see sense, but I didn't bother. I started to feel embarrassed that I didn't notice he was like this and wasted 2 years built up to let this down. But that's because you didn't live with him before. As I packed my car, I said as much, and I told him not to contact me. I blocked him everywhere, and now he's sending our mutual friends messages and voice notes to forward to me. Good friend wouldn't be doing that. Those are his friends, not yours. My friends have been mostly on my side, seeing him as a bit pitiful, and I can see that. One of the male friends we have in common mentioned that he's been watching podcasts recently about masculinity, and I have a feeling this is where he got the idea, to stall my future and put me under his foot only to serve his dreams and goals. Manosphere podcasts are the worst things that have happened, because it makes men feel entitled to things that they are not entitled to. I feel angry the more I think about it. He loved those podcasts, men's ideas, more than he loved me, and now he expects me to feel sorry that he can't afford. Hi, how are you? Welcome to the show. I hope you stick around. I try to be here a lot. I'm good. I'm just reading our Reddits. Oh, okay, where was I at? We were talking about the Manosphere podcasts and how they are the worst. I believe he still thinks I'm the gold digger for not accepting an unfair division of effort and labor. If this has happened to any other woman, how did you address it? I'm annoyed to let it trickle and accumulate for 2 months before addressing. Moving forward, I won't enter a relationship without having this outlined in the dating stage. I'm in my 30s now and don't want to deal with men expecting free women to labor because society makes them believe it's worthless compared to what they do. P.S. Sorry for my wonky English. I'm from a European country that isn't in the UK. And of course, as usual, someone who doesn't speak English as a native language speaks better English than most Americans. And I'm an American, so I would know. uh, Relevant comments. Commenter. This is a common trend in recent times. I had the same issue with my ex-boyfriend of 2 years. It's getting worse, guys. Told me my responsibilities as a woman was cooking, housework, childcare, and paying half the bills. Why should you do the cooking, housework, and childcare and pay half the bills? That's insanity. His responsibility over paying the other half of the bills, being in charge, and making all financial decisions. I earn a lot more than him. Oh my. Turns out at the age of 32, he became a massive Tate stan. Like you, I don't know. I didn't know he had been consuming the content obsessively. One of the last things he said to me when we were breaking up was, "All a woman is good for is keeping my stomach full and balls empty." Yikes. Oh my goodness. You're lucky you left when you did, and I'm impressed with how quickly you did. I tolerated the misogynistic crap for months before finally walking away. Hi, Buzzcut, how are you? Girls, when guys start doing this, please, for Pete's sake, leave. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't raise my kids like this. OOP answered that one. I'm glad to hear he's an ex. I did it in the moment thinking I was being too rushed in my response, but my gut feeling was he was telling me he was not going to hear my opinion, let alone change his ways. If he didn't respect me enough even to do that, what he did in the first place. I'm so shocked by the comments and how common this podcast pipeline was. He listened completely in secret. I was not aware the slightest. There may be shame attached on some level to hide it. Because we shared all the entertainment we consumed, even his football, I would sit down with him sometimes for important matches. Love it when you don't share your sports. No party comments. What messages are he sending you besides rent? Is he trying to get you back? OOP, mainly apologies and explanations for what he said. The last message I read was about his plans for his career and how he wanted to become a high earner so I would never need to work and he can only buy me everything. Me and my friends agree that he is digging a hole as he still ignores my career and goals. And after accusing me of being a gold digger, his plan was to make me a gold digger. I'm not sure. I think he's just in crisis mode right now. Oh my. Yeah, not cool. The thing is, not all women are built to be trad wives. I mean, I realize I am kind of, but that's what we agreed on. It wasn't something that was forced on me. OOP added elsewhere about the messages. I'm sorry, I realized after posting I didn't elaborate. It was just the last message of the string of messages he's tried to pass on and shocked me enough to make the post. It was on my mind when I typed the title before that I went on a rant mode. Haha. He basically just mentioned that because I left without giving him time to adjust his budgets, I should pay for the next month of rent? No. Where does this guy get off? But he lived there before, so I know he can afford it if he becomes frugal. My name was not on the lease, and when I mentioned I wanted to be on it, in my country, having a paper trail of rent agreements makes it easy to rent when you move. A void isn't great. He told me not to worry, so I guess he kind of saved me from that in his own way. Somebody that deleted their account said, "Congratulations, dodged a big bullet. His issues will be bigger and bigger." Oh my, this is long, guys. Especially now, Maeve Wellflare answers, especially now he financially winged himself over calling the breadwinner a gold digger and now begging the same woman he crapped on as soon as she moved in to be a sugar mama to fund the roof over his head while she still no longer lives there. OP more than dodged a big bullet. She dodged nukes, plural. Oh. Delita says, nothing funnier than men calling women gold diggers when they got no gold to dig. Edit, thank you for the overwhelming support. I see many people have gone through the same thing, and it makes me feel less angry that I find myself in this situation. Yeah, you shouldn't be angry about a situation that you find yourself in because you can't control other people. Nobody really knows everything that goes on in somebody else's head. So don't feel bad if somebody ends up abusing you. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. It's on them. I wanted to explain a few points that came up a lot. One, he created an Excel spreadsheet that calculated based on income how we can fairly contribute. When his pay increased, he paid more monthly, about 80 pounds, and also had 400 pounds extra monthly disposable income. If this is what soured him, I suppose he should have mentioned it because this was his system, not mine. So he's making all the rules already. Two, we did not keep a tally. We had favorite chores. He likes to vacuum. I like to put dishes away. Sometimes he is sick and does overtime or isn't in the mood, and I would happily do it. Same with him for me. I only started to tally when a pattern emerged. It would be stupid not to take notice when he is constantly leaving things to me silently, as if expecting me to silently sort it out. The mold was disgusting, as mold is. Feel free to chat at any time, guys. The groceries were just a straw that broke the camel's back. I exhausted after only 2 months of picking up the slack mentally and physically. Couldn't imagine doing it without serious reconsiderations to our dynamic. We discussed children because we both agreed we wanted the relationship to head in that direction, not because we're ready now. As you should. You should definitely discuss children, housing, jobs before you get married, long before you get married, so that you know you're on the same page. I would not have spent 2 years with a man if our future ideas didn't align. It's okay if somebody changes their mind later, but communication is important. 100%. 100% correct. Four, he listened to these podcasts in secrets. I had no idea. Oh, so he was tape mining in secret. And we usually share the entertainment we consume together, silly videos and films. Update, June 16, 2025, 6 months later. Hey, I posted on this sub a few months ago about my relationship, my 31 female ex, 35 male, falling apart due to his change in ideology and seeing me as less like a partner and more like someone who only exists to support his dreams. The breakup was quick. I walked out after a major fight with most of my items, and my father went back to collect the rest while I was on FaceTime. I wasn't scared of him then, but I knew he'd tried to talk to me as he was bothering all of our mutual friends to get in contact with me on his behalf. Since then, I have slowly drifted away from our mutual friends. No one has cut contact with him, and I just wanted friends who didn't feel like they were walking on eggshells around me. He started off by being very apologetic in his messages to me through them, but quickly became mean and blamed me for everything. So typical. Typical. He lost a flat because he could no longer afford it and moved into a studio. While he was heartbroken, his sister would look after him and clean sometimes, but even she got tired of it. He told everyone he was depressed because of me, and they all tiptoed around him. But once I started to drift off and hang out more with my hometown friends and reconnect, I heard less and less. About a month ago, I got asked on a date and said yes. The man, 33, let's say Martin, is completely new to this area and knew barely anyone. So we spent a lot of time together the first week, just showing him around and being more like friends before seriously dating. Well, that's nice. Somehow my ex found out. I'm still not sure how, but I think a mutual friend saw me and reported back. And, that happens. He turned up at my father's house. He doesn't know where I currently live, asking to talk to me. I call a mutual friend to alert them of his weird behavior, and it seemed to work because he didn't try anything for a little while. But then one called me to tell me that they had found out that my ex lost his job because for the past few weeks he's been driving around my town all day instead of working in hopes to spot me. Okay, that's creepy, scary behavior. That's terrifying. This has scared me as I really didn't think he was capable of that. But if you read my last post, you'd know that I don't seem to be able to predict these things well. Martin is a tall, large man, so I go out with him almost everywhere since we like spending time together anyway. And I also have friends and my father, so I don't feel like I'm in imminent danger, but his behavior sounds like the kind of behavior from an entitled, delusional man. 100% yes, you do. We know how far their delusions of entitlement can take them. For him to lose the job, he wanted me to prioritize over mine, and entire start of our argument last time doesn't sit right with me. At this point, the police here can't do anything as he hasn't acted, and I can't prove that he has stalked me electronically. So the only way for me to find out more or to resolve this is by unblocking him. I'm grateful that I blocked him so thoroughly because it allowed me to have a clean break. But obviously, his red pill mind is that's not normal. Will closure help him? No. No, closure will not help him. Martin has suggested that he even pretended to be a dedicated boyfriend to help discourage my ex from any ideas of reconciliation. Honestly, since our breakup, I have been considering moving to Portugal, but very whimsically. Now this situation has made me think about it seriously. I write because last time your comments made me comfort and lots of insult and confidence. I wonder if there's another update. No, that's not it. No, that's the last update. It was 6 months ago. Actually, that's just a year ago. So no updates since December of 2024. Top comment is from Match Magpie. And they say, if a mutual friend is reporting you on my status to an ex, they would not be a mutual friend anymore. I can see that too. If they're a stalker, I mean, at that time they didn't know he was a stalker. And things come up in conversations. Broken Softly says, my stalker ex paid a mutual friend to visit me after I fled the state. We were at dinner. I was complaining about how abusive the relationship had been, and he broke down and admitted my ex was funding the visit and apologized. Accepted the apologize, requested he leave early, and then cut him out too as soon as he was on my way. I had panic attacks for years when I saw a car that looked like X's on the road. Doing better now. I'm glad you're doing better now. Second top rated comment is from Scalding Hell. And they say, I wonder how much of gold there was to dig if he couldn't even afford his house without her. No kidding. Third top rated comment is from Acceptable Box. At different points in our relationship, my husband and I have made more than each other. Sometimes a little, sometimes a lot. Never has it changed our division of labor, which is always 50-50, except during the crunch time when one of us takes more of the load for the other because we both work full time. Also, you got to have gold to dig if you're going to be worried about gold diggers. 100%. All right, last thing we have made me smile because we always need brain bleach after all of that. So here you go. Oops. Forgot to hit that. Classmates refused to sign a boys' yearbook, so he signed it himself. Hope you make some more friends. The next day, older students showed up and filled in every page. Aw, that's so sweet. Good kids. I always love stories about good kids. They're great. Some derivative said, I had a kid take my yearbook, and he scribbled out my face on purpose. The kid got sent to the office and had to buy me another $80 yearbook. Wow. Yeah, yearbooks are not cheap. Fiona Rose says, imagine writing that to yourself. I'm very glad people showed up for him. And Jaguar Love says, something like this happened to my girlfriend before we met each other because she was quiet and didn't have that many friends. Only one person from her class wrote in her book, her best friend, and filled out 4 pages and added a little fox to every page beside the page number. My girl is a very big fan of foxes. I had a fox run through the yard the other day. I'd never seen one here before. A lot of the older students came and wrote too because a lot of them had thought she was cute and sweet, which is true. And almost her whole book was filled. A lot of them had bad handwriting, so she didn't really know what they said because she's already dyslexic. All right, and that's it for today. Ooh, horsies. My background is horsies today. I love that because I love horsies. All right, I hope you all my biddies have a good day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll be here tomorrow at noon. Have a good evening. Love you all. Bye. Bye. Love you. Bye.